Thank you, brother.
Got to keep building it up. You feel me? Be building it up to the standards. What's going on, everybody? You already know it's the Bar Narcolepsy Bar 94. Came Malik back here again with another podcast, talking top 10s, Mount Rushmore, everything wrestling today. Sticking strictly to the wrestling topic. As usual, I always have special guests on my channel. Been here multiple times. I'll let my guests introduce themselves. Sean, and then we'll just go down to Kyron.
What's the vibes, man? You already know what it is, man. First and foremost, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. All praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That comes first. After that, everything is possible. Shout out to Malik. Appreciate the invite, man. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's in the building. Sexiest big man in the game. You know why? Because your girl just emailed me that about 5 minutes before the show started. So,
damn.
Let's go.
You still sending emails out today in this era?
I just got an email from this dude's chick saying I'm the sexiest big man in the game. So I don't know. I don't know.
She had an AOL email.
I'll screenshot it after the show.
Bet. Say less. Go ahead, Mountie.
All right, what's up, man? What's good? Ed the Mountie in the house. Malik, thanks for having me, baby. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're talking top 10, and we're talking. Am I allowed to say it, Malik, or did you already go over it? Did you already go over it? What we're going to talk about today?
Yeah.
Anyways, we're talking top 10, and then we're going to take 4 out of our top 10 and put them into Mount Rushmore. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're expecting a lot of comments because, it's going to be controversial. It's going to be amazing. You're going to say something. I'm going to say something. Sean's going to say something. Malik, Kyron, we might be all over the fucking place. So you better stay tuned and stick into the whole thing because it's about to go down.
Let's go.
Go ahead, Kyron.
It's your boy, Kyron Chase. I am happy to finally be back. After a few weeks off of hiatus, represented by right here, my nickname, one of the greatest songs you'll ever hear. I'm ready to get started.
Big shout out to Kyron coming back. Big shout out to the bro Conrad and Rambo. We're thinking about you guys, man.
Yes, sir. Always.
Yeah,
we'll be back together.
Doing better too.
6-pack. We'll be back together eventually. Hold on. Let me just respond to some of these comments real quick. Onto some of these comments. Okay, so before we get to the top 10, we'll just chat about some wrestling, and then we'll get into the top 10. Maybe answer some questions from the people because I see some people in here making the comments.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is somebody taking notes on who the top 10 is? Should I do that?
You can if you want to write it down. You can.
Yeah, I love being that note taker. You know what I'm saying?
You take the notes. Keep them. All
right. We're gonna do that. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure.
We got some comments in here. Let me see. Drew versus The Fiend. Who you going for? Don't really think that's going to happen, but because I don't think The Fiend doesn't need a belt, first of all. We got to see what happens. We got to see what happens with the Chamber first.
What if it's a fatal 4-way with Sheamus, Fiend, Orton, and Drew?
Possible. I don't really know. I don't know what the WWE title picture is looking like for WrestleMania. To be honest, I mean, I still think Edge. I still think Edge is challenging Roman Reigns, and I don't know. I've heard rumors that Edge could win, and Orton could win, and Edge could challenge him. So I gotta see what happens with the Chamber first. If Drew wins, then I don't know what really happens.
You didn't announce it last night yet? Fuck. No.
Gentlemen, I keep telling you, like I told y'all on Mountie's channel last week, man. Edge is going to challenge Drew because Drew needs his star power. Mark my words.
It's interesting. It's an interesting take for sure.
I don't think so. I think he's challenging Roman.
Look, I'm not going to go too deep into it. 100% Edge and Roman is the best matchup. Edge and Roman would be the best matchup. I'm telling you that Drew needs Edge to make him. No disrespect to Drew. Drew is not box office. I don't want to get into this all over again.
We talked about it before on Mountie Channel.
Spear versus spear. McMahon couldn't get it last year with Goldberg and Reigns, but this year he's gonna make it happen.
Edge is better than Goldberg, though. This is a better match than Goldberg. So.
Yeah. 100%. But like I said, even though I wasn't on that show Friday, I did leave a comment. And I'm gonna read the comment I wrote about Drew. Drew's the first babyface. I feel like he booked very, very well. Think about it. Like he's not incompetent. He's actually a badass, and he what's looking for? Like he's booked strongly as a world champion should. And that's why I've actually appreciated Drew's title reign, because it's like This is what you want out of a world champion babyface. And I agree, Sean. I don't think even if he's not box office, I still think he's been a strong champion.
Yeah, because nobody hates him. Nobody hates him.
He's been a strong champion. Well, actually, I know some people actually don't like Drew, but he's been a strong champion. We were just debating about
Fuck doesn't like Drew.
Face at WrestleMania, and the money match would be him and Roman. That's the money match to me.
Here's my problem with doing Edge and Roman.
Wrestling fans, man, annoy me.
This is my problem with doing Edge.
No, but seriously, like, what the fuck is there not to like about Drew McIntyre? Bro. Like, I understand not Cena's when Reigns' face. I understand that, but like Drew, he's not cringe. He's decent on the mic. He's got a great look. He's pretty badass. Like, what the fuck? What do people want? They just want to go against the grain. That's it. Go on.
Yo, Mountie, you know me. I'm not trying to go against the grain.
Not you.
I don't feel this guy. Like, I feel him and I want to reiterate the biggest point that I think I made that night. Malik, if you don't mind. I'm telling you, he deserves to be where he is. That's not what I'm saying. I would never disrespect that man and say he does not deserve to be WWE champion. He deserves it 1,000%. He deserved the Royal Rumble last year, and he deserves the title. But that doesn't make him box office. That's all I'm saying.
See, I got a comment right here that says Drew sucks.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, I wouldn't say he sucks. First of all, I like Drew McIntyre way better as a heel, in my opinion.
See, I disagree. I actually like him more as a face. And my prime example, you say because of Roman's work as well. Think of this way. When Roman and Drew fought at WrestleMania 35, no one cared about that match because the character dynamic didn't work. You flip it over to Survivor Series this year, the character dynamic was much better. And what happened? We got one of the best matches of the year.
True. Speak on it, bro. Speak on it, man. And that was a sick match. Fuck.
He also was in the ring with the best in the business right now.
That match.
Agreed. But you got to dance with him, baby. You know.
Yeah, you only as good as dance.
Let me ask you a question. Not that it's going to happen, but imagine Drew versus Sheamus at WrestleMania.
That's not a WrestleMania title match.
I'm just making a point though. Like, matter of fact, that's a perfect little accidental coincidence that I'm about to tell y'all right now. I look at Drew McIntyre. He's better, but I look at Drew McIntyre almost like I look at Sheamus.
Oh,
I don't go that far.
I said he's better than Sheamus. He's better than Sheamus. I said almost. Sheamus, and the only comparison, Sheamus was WWE champion. And it was like,
well, let's be honest. Sheamus accidentally won the title when he pushed Cena off the top rope
on the table.
What the hell did I say?
Drew, you know what? Drew is a B+ player.
Oh, Sean.
As the world champion,
sounds like the authority. Sounds like the authority right now.
As a world champion, A+ players, Ric Flair, A+ players, Hogan, A+ players, Rock and Austin.
He's at least an A. He's not an A+, but he's an A.
A players, Daniel Bryan. A players, Randy Orton. A players, John Cena. Drew is a B+ player, and by the way, Sheamus is a C- player.
Yeah, I give him a C. Not as a world champion, but I mean as a wrestler.
Right.
It's
B.
Yeah. Someone in the comments, AD fan 2016 said what I was about to say. Is anyone beating Roman anytime soon? Because I don't see anyone beating him. Yeah, no. That's the big problem with doing Edge and Roman. I don't want Roman dropping that title anytime soon. Like,
not WrestleMania 38.
Exactly. He's too hot right now to drop that title. And
but he can lose and get it back though. You can always lose and get it back.
True.
Just adds on to his title reigns.
Oh, hold on, Sean. Someone in the comments, LeBron fan 23, love the name by the way. Cena's an A+, bro. What are you talking about?
All right, I said Cena's an A, and you say A+. Tomato. That's fine. I don't put Cena on the same level of Hogan, Savage, Flair, Austin, Rock. I don't. But he's an A player. I give him an A. I didn't say B+. I said A.
Becky maybe at WrestleMania, possibly.
Wait, what?
Somebody says, do you think Becky will come back for Mania? Maybe at WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania? But
I don't see it. She just had a
Royal Rumble 2022.
At most next year, the Rumble. She just had a baby. Like, I don't see her coming back anytime soon. That's why for anyone who honestly thought she would come back in the Rumble, like, I don't know why you thought that. I know the Rumble is where you get great returns, but no woman who just had a baby less than a month earlier is coming back to wrestle.
I agree. When she made the announcement after Money in the Bank, I immediately tweeted, Becky, see you, Royal Rumble 2022.
You did. I remember. I think I retweeted that tweet.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be that long before she comes back, but
I think the spinner belt should have been yes, I agree. The spinner belt should have only been seen exclusive. That was the problem with the spinner belt. It looked dumb on anyone else. Personally, I have a soft spot in my heart for the WWE title spinner belt. The U.S. title one, didn't like it. But the WWE title spinner belt always had a special spot in my heart for it. My problem was this: one, it was only looked fine on Cena, and two, and more importantly, they replaced the Undisputed title design, which is my personal favorite title design of all time, with that one. So that's what I think. That's another reason why a lot of people don't like it as much, because of what it replaced.
Totally, bro. That's a very good point.
Good point. Good point.
It all should have been made for, just like when Cena lost the U.S. belt, they destroyed it. This should have been the same exact way with the WWE title. Or, if they lost it, you could have just went back to the original title, and if Cena got it again, you just switch it back. Because like when Edge won it, he had the Rated R belt, but then when they had the spinner on it, it was like it wasn't good. It didn't fit.
Yeah, I thought the Rated R spinner was worse.
That's the only thing with custom belts, like the Smoking Skull belt, the Brahma Bull belt, the spinner belt, the $1 million championship. Those are only custom for certain people. They should.
Well, the Brahma Bull title never even saw the light of day, because I never liked that design either. My whole thing is,
both of your points. It's weird though, because the Austin belt, only Austin had it. As soon as somebody else won it, they went back to the second winged eagle, right? But for some reason, Cena's belt kind of translated down the road. I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, it should have just been like the Smoking Skull. Just switch it off when that person has it. Like,
I think the problem is I don't even like the current designs for WWE titles, because I just think it's too basic. Like, it looks like something you would give a celebrity as a gift, not the title that did the biggest title in the company. That's my problem with all the titles on the main roster, the 2 women's titles and the WWE and Universal. Like,
yeah, it looks like something you'd give like an NBA team when they won or something like that.
Exactly. What else we got? Someone said, I like Sasha versus Bianca. Who agreed? Yes, please. That's what I want more than anything right now.
I want that, but unfortunately, I don't want either one of them to lose. That's why I kind of don't want it.
Exactly, Sean. I told Melty and Malik this a few weeks ago. My biggest problem with that match is you can't have Bianca lose because she has all the momentum. Sasha has momentum too, and she's never won at WrestleMania.
Yeah, so that's hard. I'm actually hoping for selfish reasons that Belair goes after Asuka.
Well, like I said, there's always ways you can lose and make you look fine. It depends on how
That's so predictable. She does. You might as well just give it to her.
It depends on how you lose and what you do after you lose.
100%. And I agree with that too, Mountie. It would be predictable.
Oh, super predictable. Whereas the unpredictability comes with Banks versus Belair, because you don't know what's really going to happen.
I love both.
That's why we tune in for unpredictability, which is hard sometimes these days. So if they have an opportunity to use that, they're going to use it. Such as Charlotte versus Asuka versus the streak. That was an unpredictable one. You're like, I said Charlotte was going to win. A lot of people were like, no fucking way. They got the streak going,
I didn't think so, Charlotte.
HBK versus Undertaker. In a way, that was somewhat unpredictable. The rematch from Triple H. I mean, these are things that if they'd like to capitalize, that's what we want, man. Like, I don't know about you. Like, I watch wrestling I predict it, but I stay away from dirt shit. I hate that shit, man. I can't stand when dirt sheets say what's gonna happen. I don't like it, man. Like, since day one, I stay away from that crap. I like to try to stick away, and then I'm gonna tune in and see what's going on. I don't want to know the winner.
It's hard. It's hard.
That's why I fucking watch it.
It's hard nowadays with social media and everything.
Bro.
It's hard to
we're already watching something that's predetermined. Like, now you want to know the winner?
Yeah, fuck. I mean that's what make predictions fun.
Listen, it's one thing to understand, okay, hey, next person to get a push is Sonya Deville. All right, cool. That might excite some people to tune in. I get that logic, right? But don't explain how it's gonna happen. I don't want to know about that,
man. Here's a question. Aaron Bales. I know some people don't think the Undertaker streak should have ended, but who should have been the one to end it in your guys' opinion? I've always said there's a few options you can go. Either I will always say you can turn Cena heel by cheating and break the streak because everyone would hate it and it'd be perfect heel turn, or if you're gonna have someone in the streak, it has to be someone that's gonna. And OTR Central said it plenty of time. Someone who's gonna be there for a long time. Like Brock was a part-time in the streak, so it's not like he needed that rub. You got to give it to someone who you know is gonna be there, who needs it. And like I said, if it was this version of Roman Reigns, I could personally see him in the streak. Hell, Roman back in 2014, maybe.
Or even those are good selections, Karen. I love it. And even my last pick for that would probably, you hang on to this streak until 2 years ago, 2018 or whatever. I guess, the timeline's really tight, but 2019 WrestleMania, and then you have Undertaker and pass it on to The Fiend.
That's a possibility. I mean, I personally believe CM Punk would have ended the streak at 29 if Paul Bear didn't pass away. Because I felt like that might have been the time to do it, but because one of his Taker's best friends had passed, he dedicated that match. So I think they had to have him win. Or
I don't believe that though. There's no way.
I always felt.
There's no way because they didn't even want to give him the WrestleMania main event. There's no way they would give him the streak.
Would I also think he should just retire at 20 and went out 20-0 because you would have had you can print merchandise for years of 20-0. He retires, with that great moment at 28, instead of retiring this year's Survivor Series in front of no fans and with piped in crowd noise.
I gotta go with Kyron's first idea. And I think I want to say Malik said this as well on a different platform. Maybe Manny. I don't know. Somebody in this chat said it before. I would go with a Cena cheating, a face Cena turning heel by cheating to beat the Undertaker. That's what I would.
Yeah, because think about it. Everyone wanted, especially people who didn't like Cena, wanted him to turn heel, but they wanted it too much. A lot of people thought it would be that next great heel turn, like a Hogan turn. But how do you make Cena turn heel? Because you can't just have Cena attack a babyface. That's not big enough. Only one way to make Cena heel. Give the fans something they really don't want. And let's be honest here. No one wanted to streak that.
That would have been pretty sweet, and it would have been really good for John Cena's career. Not that John Cena hasn't had a stellar career anyway, but I would have even been like, oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Taker messed up his own exit from the sport. I 100% agree with that. Taker, he kept coming back. I mean, I thought he looked like he was going to retire at 30 when he lost the streak, but he came back at 31. Like he was going to retire at 33, but that match was so bad he didn't want to go on that. And Taker, I do agree. Taker did kind of mess up his own exit because he just kept coming back. I do agree with that comment. Brock was already, I agree. Brock was already a star, superstar. That's debatable.
Saying star, he was already a superstar, bro.
I think Brock was already.
He was already box office made before the streak ended. Before he ended the
especially when you take his US now. I agree. Now, this one thing I will say, I do agree that people say it made Brock into what he is because think about it. When he first came back, he lost to Cena, he lost to Triple H. He was just a guy. I think in the streak did turn Brock into the Brock we know now, but he didn't need it. He could have just been built as a star when he first came. He just shouldn't have lost to Cena and Triple H.
Marco, who is the best wrestler ever? Not just saying the best. If you're talking about best wrestler in ring wise, Shawn Michaels. But I mean, I think you're talking about in ring wise. If you're talking about best wrestler in ring wise, Shawn Michaels.
I think that's up for debate on who you think is the best pure in ring performer. Shawn Michaels. You got plenty of people you can ask. I mean, I don't know. Best theme song of all time for me. CM Punk, Cult of Personality. That's my favorite theme song of all time.
Most underrated tag team in the Ruthless Aggression era, Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
I would probably say the most underrated tag team in the Ruthless Aggression era. I probably would ride with that one, Malik, only because I don't remember a lot of really, really good tag teams.
Thoughts on the current product? Not too good.
Don't watch.
Where does AJ Styles rank as far as in ring wise? He's top 5 in ring wise.
One of the greatest ever, best in terms of pure.
He's top 5 in ring wise. He's top 5, no doubt. You guys see AJ having one more title run? Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future.
What Cena did y'all like more? I mean, Cena's my favorite wrestler, so it really didn't matter to me. As I was a kid, obviously 07 Cena, but as I got older, probably I would say Thugonomics Cena.
Thugonomics. Lyrics Line in the Sand.
It was awesome, bro.
Eddie
Line in the Sand was great. Merch soon. Ooh, I should get some merch, shouldn't I? I'm gonna look into that. We will look into merch.
Best theme song with lyrics, Line in the Sand, Evolution. No, I still say CM Punk, Cult of Personality, and Chris Jericho, Judas are my 2 favorite theme songs of all time.
Line in the Sand is really good, man. That's a really good theme. I think everybody loves that Evolution theme.
I gotta go with DX still, just for nostalgic purposes. But Line in the Sand was pretty freaking awesome.
Triple H.
Line in the Sand.
I don't think Triple H had, besides his Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick, when he turned into Triple H, he never had one bad theme. All his themes were good.
I got a question.
What kind of merch were we talking about? I didn't hear that before.
Somebody said I need to get merch soon.
Whoa. Crazy idea.
6-pack.
I've been talking about. Yes!
We've been talking about it. We actually.
That's what I was just about to.
Batista's theme is fire.
The 4 of us and Conrad and Mark have actually discussed merchandise. So
God.
But we're just going to leave it at that because we had no set plans.
Look, I got it, man. That's for you there, Sean.
Amen. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there.
I got a question. Do you think Shelton Benjamin should have been world champion? I mean, why not? You gave the title to a lot of other people who really shouldn't have been champion. I mean, Shelton could have used it.
Yeah,
I mean, people might say he wasn't. Do you think the Great Khali should have been? No, the Great Khali should never been in a wrestling ring, let alone been a world champion. What do you mean talking about should the Great Khali been world champion? No.
Hang on a second.
Corey Gordon says, Kobe, amen. Shout out to that. Shout out wrestling.
Kyron, I got something for you. If Great Khali was never a wrestler, I would have never met Malik, therefore never met you. Because that's how we met.
That's the only good thing the Great Khali ever did.
I don't like that. I don't think anybody likes it. I don't like the Great Khali personally. All right, we'll answer a few more questions before we go into the top 10. I'm going to scroll up and read some of these past questions, and maybe I missed some of you guys.
By the way, Malik, your chat is popping, bro. Look how you didn't made it, my G. You didn't made it.
This is actually pretty fun to answer a question. This is something I always wanted to take a part of, actually.
Scrolling up to the top to read some of these questions. Hold on. So,
hey, Melcy, did you see OTR Essentials doing another QA? Did you see what I asked him this week?
Oh, I didn't see it yet. What did you ask him?
Randy is the GOAT. Randy's up there.
I'm gonna send you the picture to Twitter. Just look what I asked him, man. This may be one of the best questions I've ever asked him. Oh god, I really hope he reacts to this.
Best female wrestler ever in WWE. I gotta say Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus.
No.
Does Matt Riddle make anyone else uncomfortable? Not really.
Kenny Omega or Kota Ibushi? Ooh, wow! I gotta go Kenny Omega, bro. Buy a hair though, bro. Just buy a hair. Kota Ibushi, bro.
I guarantee you, Kyron, he's gonna be like, I'd watch it twice.
Aaron Bales. I see who's your guys' favorites. We're about
that'd be nice. That'd be nice, Kyron. By the way, I would do it.
Rebecca Beaver. AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler, Cedric Alexander, my personal favorite.
Best female wrestler outside of WWE right now?
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa's up there. I'm about to go with Thunder Rosa too. Thunder Rosa.
Why do big guys get buried? Which big guys are you talking about in particular?
Can't be talking about me. I never get buried, boo.
Me neither.
No, you just bury it. You just bury it in them.
I do the bury. I am the bear. I'm the one to hold the show.
Nah, shout out to Mr. Dog. I feel you though. Sometimes big
Victoria
guys.
was so underrated. Yes, bro. Victoria.
She was.
You already know how I feel about Victoria, bro. One of my favorite female wrestlers of all time.
Anthony Hogan, who is the best at promos of all time?
Dusty Rhodes.
I personally think Paul Heyman.
Dusty Rhodes.
The Rock, no doubt.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a good question.
That's a good one.
Aaron Bales, best promo package. I got 3.
Shawn Michaels, Taker running up the hill, WrestleMania 26. That's the greatest promo package ever.
17.
Totally agree.
17.
Rock Austin 17, Taker Michaels 26, Daniel Bryan Monster. Those are the 3 best.
That's a good one. I would maybe substitute that last one, although that's a fucking good pick. I would maybe substitute it for Batista versus Triple H, the implosion of Evolution, WrestleMania 21.
A little bit old school. I think we all agree on 17. I'm gonna go with Warrior Hogan too.
Warrior Hogan.
The promo package, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty good promotional package.
Hi, bro. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 26, bro. That's the
I ain't gonna lie.
Every time I watch that, bro, my gosh, bro. Whoever made that, put them in the Hall of Fame.
But just every time I see the Daniel Bryan Monster promo, I always get emotional. Like every time that part, I always get emotional.
Favorite feud of all time.
You're an emotional guy, though, Kyron.
I mean, I am.
Favorite feud of all time? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say John Cena and Edge.
Orton?
John Cena and Edge. It's my favorite.
I'm gonna say
they always had a good feud. Cena and CM Punk would be up there too for me.
I'd probably say maybe Cena and CM Punk. Austin Rock definitely has. Austin Vince, obviously.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a tough.
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
That's a good one.
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels is a good one. Mega Powers. Mega Powers is a really good one.
That might be the best in a long time.
Triple H Batista. That was a sick fucking rivalry.
You said that right here.
That was 2 years in the making, man.
Mega Powers. That shit was good, bro. I rewatched that match like not too long ago too.
When I first started Hubba Wrestling Weekly, this is not a cheap plug. I literally no, I swear to God, it was not a cheap plug. I created an article rebooking the entire Mega Power storyline. I think
send that to me. I want to read that.
To prove it's not a cheap plug, I'm going to reveal it now. I'm not going to say go look at the website. I'm going to say it right now. I would have had the Mega Powers win the tag team championship, and then I would have had them explode as tag team champions. That's what I would have done.
Interesting. What do you think? What do you think about the 2-man power trip? I mean, I don't think Austin should have turned heel.
Worst match ever.
I mean, I can go the obvious one and say Shawn Michaels and Jennifer Raskin because of -5 stars. But
finger poke of doom.
That would be
I want to say Jeff Hardy and Sting, bro. That was
Jeff Hardy and Sting probably.
Jeff Hardy and Sting and Jeff Jarrett lying down.
Yeah, those are up there.
Malik Murray, I don't think that'll ever happen, creating a new legacy, because right now, Orton's on a level where nobody would be able to trust him. It wouldn't make any sense for him to have a stable.
Exactly. Best return ever, my favorite. Okay, to me, the best return ever, in my opinion, of all time. I think it's better when you don't know they're going to happen. That's how I look at it. And to me, was The Rock in 2011, bro. Had no idea that man was coming back. Never knew. I didn't put two and two together. Looking back now, the electricity, I should have known being a WrestleMania. I was like, oh, but I just didn't know. They confused me with the female coming out the limo. I didn't know. Triple H's return was great. John Cena, obviously John Cena fan, obviously not worked out. But to me, the Rock, though, man, coming back in 2011.
Best Royal Rumble return seen in 2008. Not even a question for me.
Guys, Keontae Parks, worst WrestleMania 17. The whole WrestleMania 17 card was horrible.
OTR Essential, is that you?
Oh, boy.
Gotta disagree heavily, bro. I gotta disagree.
And I'm not. It's not even my favorite WrestleMania.
Rock.
TLC 2.
Triple H Taker.
Oh my God.
Angle Benoit.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Sorry, dog. Better luck next time.
Raheem Chaplin. I'm sorry for pronouncing this wrong. Best promo package for the worst match.
Triple H Randy Orton. One of the most hyped up, greatest builds ever in the match. It was terrible.
Shout out to Rebecca Beaver. Cedric is so underrated. That I agree with. Him and Ricochet were a great tag team. That I disagree with.
Don't get this guy started on Ricochet.
Do you think
Eddie Cedric's going to get kicked out?
Yes. Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels, from what I've heard, were supposed to wrestle WrestleMania 22.
Going to have the WrestleMania 22. My God,
before Eddie Guerrero passed away, unfortunately. So, yes.
Just think about that. WrestleMania 22, and we had Shawn and Eddie. Like, that match would have been so good.
Yeah, that match better be on last. Some of that. So. All right, let's get into the top 10.
We'll answer some more questions after we do the top 10. So, guys, keep the questions going.
All right, guys. So, we're about to do now. We're about to transfer over. I appreciate you guys leaving your questions. We're about to transfer over. Everybody here has made a top 10 list of who they think the greatest of all time is. Not your top 10 favorite, your top 10 greatest ever. Remember, this is personal opinion. So, obviously, there are going to be some people that you want on the list that aren't going to make our list. So, feel free in the chat to leave your list, too. Always leave your list. Your opinions are welcome. Everybody's opinions are always welcome on my channel. Top 10 greatest ever, and everybody's opinion. So we'll start with Sean. I'm gonna let you start, Sean. Top 10 greatest ever in your opinion, and you don't have to. Once again, if you want to put them in order, you don't have to put them in order. If it's too hard for you to put in order, you don't have to put them in order. And you have to explain why they're on your list. And of course, if somebody legendary is not on your list, like if some guy who most people have on their list is not on the list, just explain like I don't have this guy on my list maybe because there's one guy I want to put on my list, but I would have to take somebody out, and that's taking somebody out on your list would be too hard. So, who's your top 10 greatest ever? Personal opinions aside, we're talking about the greatest ever. Doesn't matter how you feel about this person. Doesn't matter if you like them. Doesn't matter if you hated them. Your top 10. Go ahead.
Ever since you invited me to this topic, this show, I've had this handsome smile on my face because I am so excited to give the world my top 10. And I want to give all three of you, including Conrad and also Rambo, credit for influencing my top 10 because there's somebody on this list that wouldn't have been there had I not really thought about it, and you guys inspired that. However, my top 4 has always been my top 4.
Eugene, right?
And my top 5 has always been...
No, it's Muhammad Hassan.
Huh?
No, it's Muhammad Hassan, not Eugene. Muhammad Hassan.
And also, I want to say my top 4-5. My top 4-5 has always been interchangeable. So please don't judge me upon that. So in order, I'm going in order, gentlemen.
Okay.
At number 10, Bret the Hitman Hart. That is my number 10 overall greatest wrestler to ever do it. At number 9, for obvious reasons and for his contributions to history, we got to go with Andre the Giant. I'm a little sad to put him so low on the list. I say low because number 8's low compared to where I think he belongs, but I just can't remove anybody else. Number 8, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. At number 7, yes, I haven't mentioned some particular character that Malik really loves yet, but trust me, it's there. Number 7, I'm going with my favorite wrestler as it pertains to like character, whatever. Debatable. Anyway, I love him. Rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage. At number 6, oh boy, this is where I had to go back to the drawing board, listen to my comrades, listen to my brothers, get some better insight. At number 6, I have to think and I had to recollect and understand the historical significance. So at number 6, I'm going with The Undertaker. Let's just call a spade a spade. 4 and 5 are interchangeable. Do not take this as a demerit of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Do not take this as a demerit if it was the other way around of The Rock. But in this particular countdown, I just couldn't decide who. I put Austin at 5, Rock at 4. It could have been Rock at 5, Austin at 4. But whatever, it is what it is. Number 3, I think are undisputed. I think number 3 through 1 are undisputed. Hogan, Flair, Shawn Michaels.
Okay. It's a pretty solid list. So you got it written down, Mountie?
Got them all.
All right. So his list. Read the list again, so everybody.
All right. So I'm gonna go 10-1. Bret Hart, Andre the Giant, Chris Jericho, Macho Man, Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, and then Hogan, Flair, and Shawn Michaels.
All right.
I think that's pretty solid, gentlemen.
That is a solid list, no doubt. That's a solid list. Can't argue. All those guys are legends. All those guys contributed to wrestling in their own way. The list is really hard because, like you said, they're always – you got to think there are newer people will come up too who are like, going to solidify themselves too. So it's like, your list could always change at times. I think you made a good point when you said that like your last couple picks always change and vary because like my top 4 has always been my top 4. But like the other ones have always kind of varied. You know what I mean? Like, this guy could be in here now. Because like when people bring up names – it makes you think about it, like, oh, you know what? He can make an argument to be on the list. And then you got to think about it, but then you got to take somebody off your list. So you're like, I don't know. I got to take somebody off my list. I don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm really debating between 2 guys. So I'm gonna read somebody else's list in here. Somebody said no order: Cena, Flair, Austin, Rock, Undertaker, Jericho, Triple H, Hogan, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels. That's a good list. That's a really good list. Somebody said Chris Jericho is low. I feel you on that. Chris Jericho was a little low. I mean, Chris Jericho was low, but I mean, you got to take all the other guys he had in front of him too. So I mean,
the only one that I could see, like being fully transparent and fully honest, the only one I could see switching Chris Jericho with is maybe Macho Man. Maybe you could put Macho at 8 and Jericho at 7. How can you replace? I mean, I love Jericho. Jericho is a 3-decade superstar, but
he's still going.
I don't know. I love him, but I can't put him any higher.
All right, so somebody else is leaving their list too. I'm waiting for him to finish. So he got 10 Hogan, 9 Macho Man, 8 Eddie Guerrero, 7 Mr. Perfect, 6 Randy Orton, 5 Undertaker, and he stopped at 5. So I'll wait for him to finish. Shawn Michaels, Taker, HH, Dusty Rhodes, Cena, Eddie Guerrero, Jacqueline, Trish, Brett, Stone Cold. That's a
shout out to Keontae, but Jacqueline,
that's an unusual list. Unpopular opinion: Brett is not in my top 10. Hey, I can't be upset with that.
You better be in your top 20, Aaron.
Triple H is at number 4 for him. Triple H is at number 4. So waiting for his top 3. It's hard to debate, man. Like with these 3 Stone Cold. So Stone Cold obviously is up there. That's a good one. 3 Stone Cold. So he had, let's see, Hogan, Macho Man, Eddie, Brett, Randy, Taker, Triple H, Stone Cold. Now your top 2. Who are your top 2, man? We need the top 2. Shawn Michaels and The Rock. Okay, so that's a good list. That's a good list. Can't be mad. All right, so I have to ask this question for you, Sean, because I know before people even come in the comments, I'm just going to save you.
Sure.
Why is John Cena not in your top 10?
John Cena's not my top 10 simply because there's not 20 guys on my list. Matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. John Cena's not on my list because there's not 15 guys on my list. I can't replace John Cena with any of these people on this list. I cannot, with a clear conscience, replace any one of my 10 guys with John Cena. I get to about the 12 or 13 mark when I think about John Cena, which is still amazing. If I say John Cena is the 13th greatest wrestler in the history of the business, that's no disrespect to John Cena. So that's where I'm at with it.
You don't think that John Cena replaces Andre the Giant?
I don't. Not, for the historical significance of Andre the Giant's career,
it's huge. I totally agree.
It's huge, but Cena's was too, though.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like Cena. I know you were.
No,
I know you didn't like Cena. I know you respect Cena. He's one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, I do. And again, I can't stress this enough. If I say, which by the way, I have gone as far to do 20 people. If I say John Cena is the 13th greatest wrestler in the history of the industry, that's certainly not a disrespectful comment.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one that I want to ask too, because I know some people may ask for two. Triple H. You didn't have Triple H on your list either.
Triple H is my number 11 if there was a number 11.
Okay. Dusty Rhodes wasn't on there. Trying to think some other people you made. Randy Orton wasn't on there.
Yeah, I mean, these are all second-tier guys as it relates to the greatest of all time. I mean, if you're saying the best wrestlers in the past 20 years, Randy Orton would have been on my list. The best wrestlers in the last 20 years, John Cena might have been number 2 or number 1 even. But, again, it's one of those deals where it's like Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is in my top 15, 100%. We're talking about the top 10. And we're going to see later on, as all 4 of us know, when we get to the Mount Rushmore, it gets even harder.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at somebody else top 10 before I let Mountie go. Jericho, Undertaker, Stone Cold, Rock, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, HBK, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Eddie Guerrero. Not a bad list.
See, if I was doing my top 10 favorite wrestlers, then Daniel Bryan, Eddie Guerrero would be there.
Right, I agree with that too. Exactly.
Well, Eddie Guerrero, he's my third favorite wrestler of all time, so he definitely my favorites. All right, Mountie, your turn, man. The floor is yours.
All right, listen, I'm gonna do this in a random order because I don't want to give it away. Who is in my top 4 of Rushmore? You feel me?
I should have done that.
That's why I'm the man, Sean. That's why I'm the sexiest white man in the game.
No. I'm the sexiest. I'm the sexiest of the smartest.
I said sexiest white man.
By
the way, you can't beat me there, brother.
Like you could just say you're the sexiest Canadian, bro.
And I can't beat you on the other side. Hey, sexiest Canadian. That's right. The Canadian dream at the Mountie. All right, here we go. Top 10.
No order, by the way. No
order. Here we go. I liked Sean's pick of the Macho Man, so that's going to be my number 10. Again, no order, but that's my number 10. Number 9, we're going to go with Bret Hart. Okay? I don't need to explain that. He's got to be in most people's top 10s, and if not 100% of people's, well, at least a good 90%, I'd say. Yeah. Next one, The Rock. Okay? We're going with The Rock at number 8. Number 7 is Shawn Michaels. Number 6 is John Cena. And it pains me to say that because I'm not a John Cena fan per se, but I can't deny that he's in top 10 of all time. That's what I feel. And I think a lot of people would maybe agree with me. The thing is a lot of old school fans probably wouldn't, but still you can't. Anyways, we'll get to that later. Number 5, we got Hulk Hogan. Childhood favorite. Number 4, The Undertaker. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number 2, Ric Flair. And number 1, you're like, fuck, who's this guy going to say? We've said it all, right? This is one that I think is going to go under the radar, but he deserves to be in the top 10, and I'm going with Sting.
Okay.
Nice pick. What about the wild card? I like that.
So reread your list. I'll let you reread your list again, just straight in order. No order, but just straight how you had it.
Straight. Okay, so Macho Man, Bret Hart, The Rock, HBK, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, Stone Cold, Ric Flair, Sting.
Is there anybody you left off your list who you debated with? Like
I have 3 others that I really wanted to put in. And again, it's really hard. Like, who do I take off? I had Dusty Rhodes in there. Best one of the best face wrestlers of all time, probably the best talker of all time. So very, very tough, that one. The other one was Bruno Sammartino. That streak is never going to be beaten.
Yeah.
That alone, he deserves to be in the top 10 because he was, a hero to a lot of people. I mean, that's massive. That's huge. I mean, that deserves to be in top 10, but I couldn't take anybody else out. And I guess the other one that I would probably go with, obviously, is that's when we start getting into like Triple H categories and stuff like that. So that's it. I mean, that's my top 10, guys.
Somebody on the chat said, "Why Sting? Why do you have Sting on there?"
So why I have Sting is I thought he was a super important piece, not just for WCW but also like TNA. Everywhere this guy went, he drew. Even in the WrestleMania match with Triple H, like 5 years ago or whatever it was, like that shit was awesome. Like Sting, to me, has always been arguably like one of the top 5 baby faces of all time.
Yes.
Dude, like he, and everything the guy did, he just did it so well. I just like what he represents as not just from a business standpoint, but his personality, just, and you hear from so many other people that the guy never changed. He never had any salt on his record. Like he never had any bad publicity on him. I just loved what he represented in wrestling in and out of the ring. He was a great role model for kids in a way because, he was that good guy, but he wasn't like a cringe good guy. I don't know anybody that ever said like, fuck Sting, like, overrated or any of that stuff. So for me, just based off that alone and just his presence and everything that he's just delivered for, sports entertainment and professional wrestling, I have to put him in my top 10. I have to.
All right. Kyron, you're up. Floor's yours.
Okay. In no particular order, because I'm not that good with orders. I got number 10, Randy Savage. Number 9, Gorgeous George. Number 8, Ric Flair. Number 7, Chris Jericho. Number 6, Shawn Michaels. Number 5, John Cena. Number 4, The Undertaker. Number 3, Hulk Hogan. Number 2, The Rock. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I like that Gorgeous George deal you threw in there.
Gorgeous George, underrated. So, go. I'll let you read your list one more time over again, so people can read it. Get the comprehension.
Okay. 10, Randy Savage. 9, Gorgeous George. 8, Ric Flair. 7, Chris Jericho. 6, Shawn Michaels. 5, John Cena. 4, The Undertaker. 3, Hulk Hogan. 2, The Rock, and number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right, so for people who aren't too familiar with Gorgeous George, I'll let you take the floor away. Why is Gorgeous George in your top 10?
Well, the thing is, I originally going to have Lou Sands also in the top 10, but here's why Gorgeous George is in the top 10. Because you look at, he was one of the first original wrestlers who really got into character more than most would think, because he was a good wrestler, but when he dyed his hair blonde and started coming up with robes like before Ric Flair was doing it. So he was the one who started the flamboyancy that we see. He inspired people like Muhammad Ali and James Brown, people who he still influence the rest of this very day. And when you take into account that people were buying TVs, not tickets, TVs to watch him wrestle, he made a lot of money. And especially when you estimate to how money is looked at now, he would have made more money than Austin, Hogan, and Rock combined. And that's why I feel like Gorgeous George has to be in the top 10.
Well said.
It's a good explanation. Can't argue with that. Gorgeous George, one of the greatest. Obviously, this is before everybody's time in this chat, and many people I'm probably sure in the chat. So, Gorgeous George was, back before everybody's time. But if you don't know about Gorgeous George, do your history. Go look it up. Go watch stuff on him. One of the greatest heels of all time. I respect it, though, man. I respect it. Gorgeous George, I don't think anybody. Somebody said Gorgeous George is a big shocker. I think a lot of people wouldn't put Gorgeous George in the top 10, but gotta respect it. Gotta respect it. I mean, Gorgeous George, like I said, very, very highly underrated. Malik Murray's top 10. Eddie Guerrero, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Chris Benoit, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, Ric Flair, and Edge. Not a bad top 10. All right. It's my turn.
Let's go. It's your time.
This was tough, bro. The top 10 is so hard, man. I will tell you that I'm the only one who doesn't have Macho Man on the list. Macho Man's not in my top 10. So everybody had him on the list besides me. Gorgeous George not in my 10. Sting was a shocker too. Sting and Gorgeous George were, I think, the two shockers. Those were the ones I didn't expect. So no order, no particular order at all, because I'm going to save it for the Mount Rushmore. So no order. Bret Hart, John Cena, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, and Ric Flair is my top 10. Those are my top 10.
I knew what your top 10 was, Malik. I already knew it.
I really want to.
I only got 3 of those. You mind slowing it down for me?
Bret Hart.
Yep.
John Cena.
Yep.
Triple H.
Yep.
Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
The Rock.
Okay.
Stone Cold. Undertaker. Ric Flair. The only person,
The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Ric Flair, right?
the only person I really debated on putting in here that I really wanted to put was Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton can make a strong case to be in the top 10. Man, he's got, especially over the years, but he's still elevating now at his age now, still relevant, still at the top of his game. I really want to put Orton on here, but I had to take somebody off the list, and I just don't. I wouldn't know who to take off, man. It'd be so hard. It would be really hard to take somebody off the list.
I'm like Randy Orton's biggest fan ever, and he's not on my top. He's not on my top 10 because
Randy could be on the list though. He could. I would not be mad at people. I wouldn't be mad if people put Randy on the list. He could make an argument to be on the list. I feel like, and
but how come? Why isn't Macho Man on yours?
Again, I had to take somebody off, and I think those guys are better, in my opinion. All those guys were better to me. So, love Macho Man. Macho Man is top 15 without a doubt. But I had to take one of those guys off, and same with Orton. Like I wouldn't know who to take off. You know what I mean? Like who do I take off to replace with these guys? Same with Andre. I love Andre. Andre's one of the greatest ever.
It's tough.
But again, who would I put?
You're going head to head. You're basically saying, Sean, I want to know what you think. It's like he's saying essentially, Triple H is a better choice than Macho Man.
For me, yeah.
Sean, I mean, how does that make you feel?
I'm not happy about it, but I respect the host, man. I respect my brother for his opinion. I think
Me too.
Man was a more well-rounded character. I think Triple H has evolved over the years. There's no question. Triple H has been many incarnations of Triple H, but I think all of those incarnations do not compare to the single incarnation of Macho Man.
Can't go wrong with it. I mean, Macho Man is one of the greatest ever. I think a lot of the reasons people wouldn't have Triple H on the list is because we know why. Because he married Stephanie McMahon and he's had too many title reigns. So I can understand people have a personal vendetta against Triple H where they want to put him, but I got to put personal reasons aside. This is about we all have Hulk Hogan on the list, bro. We don't like Hulk Hogan as a person, but how can you not put Hulk Hogan on the greatest ever list?
I think I'm going to side with you slightly, very, very cautiously, Malik, on this. And the only thing that I could think of where Triple H might edge Savage, again, is that Savage kind of had a little bit of peaks and valleys at some points in his career, right? At one point he was a commentator. I mean, that was a little, And then there was other times where what up, Mach, and all that kind of stuff. So he had kind of a little bit of downers, whereas Triple H has always kind of been rising. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, I don't know, Sean. What do you think about that?
Let me interject by saying thank you for giving me the floor. Here's the deal.
It is my show.
No, it's not your show.
Malik, that was for last time, Malik. I appreciate that was for Malik calling himself the main event on my show. So I got him back this week.
Here's a controversial take, and I think it's fairly accurate. Macho Man Randy Savage, in my opinion, was the best wrestler in the world in 1989.
Yes.
1988 to 1989, he was the best wrestler in the world. Yep. I have never been able to say that Triple H was the best wrestler in the world during a 12-month period of time.
Let's take something Conrad once said. Which year, you could argue, even though Hogan was always there, Savage was arguably the biggest star in the company. Was next to Hogan, especially when he was champion for a full year. Can you ever say there was a point when Triple H was the face of the company?
That's what I'm trying to say. I think you're saying
but you can make the same argument for Undertaker, though. When was Undertaker ever the face of the company? Look at
True, but the Undertaker never needed to be. I think he never needed to be champion.
But did Triple H ever need to be the face of the company either?
No, but he definitely didn't need to be world champion.
Let's get back to what I asked, though. Macho Man was, I think, the best wrestler in the world from 88 to 89. Okay?
Agreed.
Arguably, maybe even 87 with Steamboat match and turning face. It's arguable. But definitely Macho Man was the best wrestler in the world in 1988. Is there a year where Triple H was the best in the world?
Closest thing you say is 2000, but even then, that's up for that. You could probably say The Rock.
2000 and 2000. Well, before he got hurt, 2001, he was doing some of his best work, but he still wasn't. I don't know if he was the best. I don't know if he was the best in the world. You know what I mean?
The Rock was the best in the world.
The Rock was the face, but Triple H was the best heel at the time. He was the best heel in the company.
That's my reasoning for giving. That's my reasoning for giving Macho Man the nod over Triple H. There's a stage, a point in history, and 12 to 16 months in wrestling is a long time. Yeah. There's a point in wrestling where Macho Man was the undisputed best in the world. Mm-hmm. Triple H has never been the undisputed best in the world.
That's true.
I agree with that. I can't argue with that.
And it's not even a competition thing because Macho had some stiff competition.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't argue with that. I mean, Macho Man was the best around that time. Obviously, Hogan was still the face, but Macho Man was the best wrestler around that
Hogan was the face. Don't forget, he did take time off. I believe between WrestleMania 4 and 5 to at least tell SummerSlam to shoot No Holds Barred. So he did take some time off.
He did, but Hogan was still. Everybody knew Hogan was still the man. I mean, Hogan was coming back eventually. So, I mean, it's the same, it was the same. I guess you could say the same for Cena for a couple of years when Cena was still coming back and everything. People still feel like he was the face over Roman, you know what I mean? When he was still coming back and everything. So, it all depends. I mean, look, there are a couple of wrestlers that never been the face that maybe didn't need to be the face of the company, you know what I mean? I don't think Triple H ever needed to be the face of the company. I also don't think Triple H needed that many world title reigns, but you could say the same for John Cena. You could say the same for Randy Orton.
You know what the crazy part is, and you guys can debate this if you want. On my list, there's only one guy, and you might say, when was Jericho? I think Jericho was the best in the world in 2019. That's just my argument. I could be wrong, but I think
2008.
Yeah. But that I'm saying, I know it's fairly recent, but I would say Chris Jericho was the best in the world in 2019. So everybody on my list, with the exception of The Undertaker, and you know why The Undertaker has to be on the list. You told me that, Malik. Everybody on my list was the best in the world at one stage of their career, at least one stage of their career.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Shawn Michaels, yeah, I guess. Yeah. 90s when he won a title, you think?
I think 96 was Shawn Michaels' year. No?
You think he was better than Bret Hart at that point?
I think so. Bret wasn't really wrestling in 96.
Bret Hart wasn't even on the scene in 96.
Remember, he left at the WrestleMania and come back to Survivor Series.
Yeah, look, we're talking about Shawn Michaels, and even just Shawn Michaels.
I'm just trying to think,
Shawn Michaels never had to be the best in 1 year because Shawn Michaels is the best ring wrestler ever.
I'll make a case Shawn Michaels is the best in 95.
Okay, but even so, I just want to clarify because it seems like there's a little bit of confusion. Shawn Michaels wasn't the best in the world in 96?
He was. He was the face of the company. He was the face of the company.
I'd say 95 as well.
Okay.
But it's
for WWE, but then
Shawn was better than Hogan in 96.
That's where I was going.
It's all NWO, but yes.
Because there were several champions in 96, Savage, Ric Flair, Hogan. I mean, these were WCW champions.
The only person that's comparable as far as the best in the world comparison in 1996 would be Hogan with the NWO. I would still give HBK the nod over Hogan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's you bring up a good point. I think everybody we have reasons why everybody's on their list. Everybody was the best. Excuse me, the best at some point. But I mean, there's always going to be somebody like you don't have John Cena on your list. I don't see how you don't have John Cena on your list personally because he's easily top 10 to me. But
John Cena was and that actually makes me somewhat of a double talker because it's like John Cena was the best in the world for several years of his career. I just can't. Here's a good question. Was Batista ever the best in the world in one particular year? Never.
No,
I don't think so.
Never.
We had that discussion with the Bret versus Roman. Roman versus Drew, I mean.
Right.
Where Drew was the Batista.
Yeah.
And Cena was Roman.
And it's really a shame because when you look at somebody like Batista, he's a well-deserved, I'm just throwing this out there as an example, he's a well-deserved Hall of Famer. But to get back to your question about John Cena, no, it makes no sense to me that I'm even saying what I'm saying. For John Cena, I don't dislike John Cena like that. I think he's a corny character, but I respect him. I can't give with a clear conscience John Cena the nod over any of these people. I mean, if you go one by one, gentlemen.
You got to look at it though. When you look at attraction wise, and you look at what he's done for the business. First of all, honestly, nobody's may have had a longer run on top that John Cena had. He was the face of two eras, the PG era and the Ruthless Aggression era.
Let me ask you a question, just one by one, and I'm sure the answer is going to be yes because he's obviously in your top 10. Real fast, was John Cena better historically than Bret Hart?
See, the thing is, I didn't have Bret Hart in my top 10.
No, just humor me. All three of you, yes or no? Was John Cena better than Bret Hart historically?
In ring wise,
no.
In ring wise, no.
As a face of the company, yes.
Okay. Andre, yes or no?
I would say yes.
Jericho, yes or no?
That's when we come down. I don't know about
Jericho. It's debatable because Jericho's gotten better over years too. So
okay, exactly. Obviously, you think Macho is not on the same level as Cena. That's debatable.
I have Macho in my top
Undertaker, absolutely not. Austin, absolutely not. Rock, absolutely. Hogan, Flair, HBK, absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. And to me, and I know when you get to your Mount Rushmore, Malik, not to give it, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong for the sake of your audience. I believe John Cena might be in your top 4, and I have no idea how that could possibly be the case.
Well, I agree with that. I agree.
But he could make an argument to be on the Mount Rushmore. Though. I can't be mad at Mount Rushmore. I mean, he's.
I saw.
We'll get to that. We will get to that if one of us picks that. We don't want to spoil that right now. That is.
You're right.
That's main event caliber, bro. Come on, that's why we're here.
When you look at John Cena's career, I would say he was very controversial, but he also did a lot for wrestling. And you look at box office and attraction wise. You look at all those guys. The way I'm looking at it is, would I take John Cena over this guy on my roster? That's how I'm looking at your list. When it comes to Bret Hart, I would take John Cena over Bret Hart.
Wow. Okay, I respect your opinion.
I think bigger attraction. I mean, in ring wise, Bret Hart's better, but John Cena can go in rings.
Bret Hart was the best in the world in '94, arguably in '95.
Yeah, but those ratings weren't rating. Look at the ratings compared to the ratings.
I think Kyron's about to say the same thing as me. You can't go because HBK was number 1 in the world in '96, and WWE's ratings were terrible.
That's why I always say, as a face of the company, the only people I would take as the face of the company over Cena is Austin, Rock, and Hogan, because Shawn didn't do good as the face in terms of drawing power. Neither did Bret. So it's hard to do that because ratings are a hard thing to project because it's not just one thing.
But ratings are a big part of it, though. That's a huge part of being the face of the company. It's the face of the company.
If we're gonna go off ratings, Cena didn't bring in the greatest ratings, because Cena brought in a lot of money.
But I'm saying, part of being the face of the company is they put you the face of the company because you're bringing in ratings. That's a huge part of it. That's the reason why Hogan was one of the most successful, because Hogan was ratings. The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, even though Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels ratings were low, they were still the face because they were the best and they brought in ratings.
Endless Blank just brought it.
Think about if one of those guys wasn't on the WWE roster back in the day. One of those guys would say Shawn Michaels was in WCW and Bret Hart was just in WWF by itself.
You're actually kind of crossing over and starting to help make my point. Let's switch that. The answer to your question is, if that happened, it would have been terrible. If John Cena wasn't around for the past 10 years, would it really have been that bad?
I would say yes, because look when John Cena look at the since John Cena has left, the product has been terrible. That's a fact.
Let me ask you, Sean. Let me ask you this. Let's say Cena wasn't.
You cannot deny that. You cannot deny that. Since he's left the WWE part time, the product is not
100%. It hasn't been a
fucking pandemic though. So that doesn't help.
Well, let me say this.
Go.
If you say if Cena was gone for the last 10 years, but who would have been a face of the company over the last 10 years, Sean?
And by the way, when I say 10 years, that's actually shortchanging it, because we're talking about more like 15 years or so.
All right, 15 years. Who would have been a face of the company during that time?
I mean, this is hypothetical, but if Cena wasn't around, would Batista have not stepped up? Would
Batista being old?
No, but I'm asking a question. I'm answering your question with a question.
Okay.
If Cena wasn't around, if there was no John Cena, would Batista have not stepped up? Would Randy Orton have not stepped up?
Here's the thing. I'm not denying that, but it also is other factors. And this is why I think Cena was the right guy Vince chose. Mm-hmm. With Batista, he was older than Cena, and he was more injury prone. With Orton, he never worked as a babyface. So it's like those two guys.
The only other argument you can make is CM Punk.
And Punk didn't become a superstar until 2011.
You gentlemen are looking at it from the wrong perspective. I love you guys, but you're not thinking the way I'm thinking. You're influence on this conversation is knowing that, okay, you know what John Cena is and you know his influence on the business.
But you're asking if these guys could have stepped up. Yes, they could have stepped up, but you got to look at what happened through their career. Batista got injured a lot in his career, and he was older.
Look, the bottom line is this. If John Cena wasn't there, it would not have been as big of an impact on the business as if Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels wasn't there. John Cena didn't anybody, and that's the same argument people say about Hogan, and I think that's wrong. Hogan had charisma. Hogan had talent. John Cena had 4 or 5 moves his entire career.
Sean, and you can't go there because what move did Hogan have? Come on now. Be honest with me now, brother.
He had the eye rake. He had the back rake. He had the leg drop. He had the right hand.
That's fair.
You have to look at it like this. You have to look at it like this. Sean and Taker.
Sean, keep going, bro. He had. Sometimes he'd rake the chest.
Don't turn me into
Come here, Kyron. Come here.
Don't turn me into a Hogan advocate. You know I don't want to be a Hogan advocate, but it was a different time then. It was a different time. How many moves did Andre the Giant have?
In his prime, he had more than a few.
I don't know.
But you have to look at it. You have to look. You honestly have to say back then you had faces of the company. So after the Rock and Austin left, who's going to be the face of the company? If John Cena's not there, who's the face?
John Cena took the ball, but what I'm trying to say is Batista would have stepped up. Randy Orton would have stepped up.
But those guys have really been the face of the company. Batista maybe, but Batista got hurt a lot, and he was older, so who knows how much longer he would have been around. And Randy Orton was always a better heel than he was a face.
Exactly.
I gotta sum that. If John Cena was still around, him wrestling in an empty arena, that'd be so bad. Like Orton, Edge, these guys can get away with it, man. You know what I mean? Like for some reason they have a little bit more, but Cena. Like one of the biggest fucking thing that made him was the fans. Fans liked him, fans hated him. Fans liked him, hated him, whatever.
And by the way, we're forgetting about so many. I'm forgetting Shawn Michaels, the second incarnation of Shawn Michaels, which is almost as good as the first.
He is better than the first.
CM Punk, Malik, you had 2008 Jericho. You're telling me the company would have been in trouble without John Cena?
I don't think that's what Malik is saying. But I think
they wouldn't have been in trouble, but there wouldn't have been a guy. They wouldn't have been in trouble, but the company wouldn't have been the same, bro. You're talking for people who are from that era, bro. We're from that era. John Cena was everything in wrestling to us.
You're from that era. I got you by about 10 years, 7, 8.
But you're not. But you didn't grow up in that era, so you don't know what it was like. You didn't grow up in that era, so you didn't know what it was like to be a John Cena fan.
I lived it just like you. I know the business upside down and backwards just like you do.
You lived it, but you didn't. It's not. You're looking at it from a different perspective, bro. You didn't like John Cena. Bro, John Cena was everything in wrestling to us. For me, we strictly watch wrestling only because of John Cena. We watched when John Cena left SmackDown. We went to Raw only because John Cena was on Raw. We didn't watch Raw before John Cena was on Raw.
I just listed Jericho, the second incarnation, probably the 22nd.
We're talking about they had brought in ratings, like John Cena brought in ratings, being in the face of the company.
You tell me 08 Jericho couldn't have carried the ball?
Hold up, Sean.
The ball, but that's for 1 year. You're talking about 1 year.
Yeah.
And John Cena was the best in the business for 10 years?
That's not what you're saying. I'm not even going to say that far, but I'm saying this.
10 years, he was the face of 2 eras. He was the face of 2 eras.
Take this into account, Sean. When Brock first came, Vince was going to make Brock the face of the company, and Brock bailed in 04.
100%.
Now, 04 wasn't that good of a year for WWE. Now, because Vince didn't have who was going to be my top guy now. Now, Cena was the one.
Let's stop right there before you finish your point. Who was the top guy in 04?
There wasn't one. If you want to say,
it was like Benoit, I think. Benoit,
Eddie Guerrero.
It
was more of like they were
trying to figure it out.
They were trying new stuff because Rock was gone. Triple H was the heel, but people really didn't want Triple H to be the face of the company. So that's why Guerrero, Benoit, they experimented with those guys. Then the next year in 05, the Royal Rumble, Batista and Cena, okay, obviously these two are hot. These two are going to be the next 2 guys. And if you looked at WrestleMania that year, you would have thought Batista would have been the face of the company, but it wasn't. It was John Cena because John Cena was better. John Cena was more of the company guy, and he was a bigger star. He became a bigger star. He got the next 2 years, he main evented WrestleMania at that time. You're looking at
Batista would have been the big guy. If Cena wasn't a pitcher, Batista would have been it.
Okay,
classic look, man. The ladies liked him.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It, man.
You guys, I understand.
He would have had it, but he got.
I'm with Sean. I'm with Sean on this one.
I swear to you,
I think he's interchangeable in some ways.
I swear to everything I love. I understand where you and Kyron are coming from.
Totally.
John Cena is not here. There is no John Cena. You have plenty of people that could have taken that spot. Hogan, Jericho, second run of HBK, CM Punk. These are all people when John Cena was on top of his game.
But then CM Punk didn't come till later. He didn't come till later.
Jericho left for a whole year from 05 to
05. If you want to talk about 2005 when John Cena came into his greatness, you had Chris Jericho.
Who left that year?
You had Rob. Yeah, okay, maybe he would. Come on, Kyron. Maybe he wouldn't have left that year.
He wouldn't have.
Maybe he wouldn't have left that year.
He wouldn't have left because he already said he was burnt out. That's why he left that year.
That's why he left.
Speculate. I'm talking about. You can't take away my. You asked me a question. I'm giving you an answer.
Okay.
Jericho, Rob Van Dam, Edge, Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Batista.
Now I think they're all solid guys.
Those are all solid picks, but
other than Batista around that company, none I will pin the company on. Like, you're not gonna pin the company on Rey Mysterio or RPE. Like, let's be honest, you're not.
You're talking about the face of the company, bro.
The number one face, the number one guy.
Nobody. It's nobody but John Cena's the only answer. There's no logical answer.
Now, this is one thing I do think. Now I will agree with Sean on this. This is a problem I think Cena suffered for and Reigns suffered for as well. Is when WWE only tries to build a company around one guy, which isn't needed anymore. Right. Now that's why I do see where Sean's coming from.
But you have to look at into other stuff too, man. You have to look at the work. John Cena was
because John Cena made a C+ level rap album.
But it's not even that. You got to look. Vince is going to make people the face of the company who draw ratings, and who's going to be the company guy. John Cena worked hard.
What we're trying to say.
This man would get hurt and consistently come back. Like within before time he should ever came back. Like what you guys are saying is good. But I'm talking about from perspective from that era, bro. If John Cena wasn't around in that era, I may not fall in love with wrestling. That's his facts, bro. Dude. I fell in love with wrestling because John Cena was there, bro. If John Cena wasn't around in that era, I may not even be watching wrestling to this day. I strictly watched wrestling for years because of him. Strictly, I didn't care about anybody else. I didn't care about Edge. I did not care about Randy Orton. I didn't care about Batista. I didn't care about Undertaker. All I cared about was John Cena. I'm watching John Cena. Whatever brand John Cena's on, I'm watching the brand.
And John Cena was a big reason why a lot of people stopped watching wrestling. And you can't say that about guys like Hulk Hogan and shit. No way.
But that's different eras. What about
I don't care. This is a fact, Malik.
It's true, brother.
But it's different eras. Hulk Hogan and John Cena are the same babyface. They're the same babyface. They're the exact same good guys.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. They're the exact same good guys.
I didn't hear that. Who's the same as John Cena?
John Cena and Hulk Hogan are the exact same baby. When it comes to babyface wise, they're the exact same babyface.
There is no difference. Come on now.
You're telling me what's the difference? Good guys who always win, who are always on top. Eat your pride, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Catchphrases that fans and kids can get behind. They're the exact same babyface. There's two different eras.
Malik has a point there. Like, come on now.
Two different eras.
There's no difference.
Different eras, bro. You got no argument for that, bro. That's his fact. Different eras, bro.
They're very comparable, but the level of
eras,
level of charisma are not even in the same ballpark.
Totally agree.
We're talking about two different eras. Hulk Hogan was in this era today.
I got an argument. Hang on.
More charismatic than Hulk Hogan?
I'm not saying that, but we're talking about fans' reactions. Reactions.
Okay. I got one for you. You know what? Let's talk about your precious little era. Okay. Hulk Hogan in the Attitude Era was over as well. John Cena would not have gotten over in that.
That's because he turned heel. That's because he turned heel because people got tired of Hulk Hogan as a babyface. They were tired of Hogan.
We're talking about when Hogan was undisputed champion.
McMahon had the opportunity plenty of times
when he brought him back in the discussion. Yeah,
never did it.
Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan. John Cena comes back today. There are people who hate John Cena. I see tweets all the time. People are like, you know what? I hate to say it, but I miss John Cena now. I'm sad that he's gone.
I would be one of those people, but
I would agree with that.
I would be one of those people. I'm not unfair. I miss John Cena too. I respect what John Cena has done, but you can't put him in the same category as Hulk Hogan.
Why can't you?
Why not?
Because he's not on the same level.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! Stop! We're talking about John Cena, bro. He's one of the greatest ever. When you talk about the baby faces of wrestling, he's in the top. He's on the Mount Rushmore of baby faces of pro wrestling as far as the biggest stars.
And I want to talk about different eras too. Hang on. I got a good point.
I want to be fair. Mount Rushmore baby faces.
Hogan, Rock,
no, give me a second. I'm doing this for real. I'm not BSing. Hogan, Austin, Rock, because he was half and half. Okay, I'll give you that. Cena's on the Mount Rushmore baby faces.
Of top guys.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'm not unfair when I have my arguments, but you're not going to convince me that Cena was on the level of Hogan.
Once again, this just comes down to personal preference to me.
See, it's two different eras, bro. Two different eras.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Hulk Hogan was able to get over with no internet, all kinds of different things.
Because that was the era, bro. That's the era.
But that's what I'm trying to say. You're saying that he's like on the same level, but Hogan did it without all these little tricks and, like barely any fucking weekly TV. Definitely no 5-hour television every week with Raw and SmackDown and all this shit. He got over, man. Publicly, boom, talk show. Everybody's talking about him, man. He spread. It was Hulk Hogan world. He put wrestling on the map.
Which is exactly why he's on everyone's list. I don't think it's fair to penalize Cena because technology has improved because more people have social media. That's not fair.
Well, what do you mean? I'm just saying. I'm saying that Hogan was able to do that without those things. I think that some of the attributes or what's the word I'm looking for? Benefits of that era definitely helped John Cena to become who he is.
And and I don't want to speak for Matty, but I'm fairly confident that I do speak for him in this regard. Me having John Cena as the 13th greatest wrestler to ever live is showing him a whole lot of damn respect.
No one's denying that.
He's still in my look. He's in my top 10. He's on my top 10.
No one's denying that. We're saying we're comparing eras and we're comparing superstars. You guys grew up in the Hulk Hogan era, so Hulk Hogan was everything to you. The way Hulk Hogan was for you, that's how John Cena was for us.
Exactly.
If Hulk Hogan wasn't around in your era, you may not even watch wrestling. You may not even. If John Cena wasn't around for our era, half the people from our generation wouldn't even watch wrestling. He was our generation.
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that somebody else could have been John Cena.
Well, Macho Man could have been Hulk Hogan.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew he was going to say that.
Somebody else could have. I missed. What did you say?
He said that Macho Man could have been Hulk Hogan then.
Somebody else couldn't have been. Oh, so you're saying Hulk Hogan was interchangeable also?
With Macho Man.
I'm saying there were people. They were saying people who wanted Macho Man back then. People wanted Macho Man. People wanted Ultimate Warrior.
Macho Man was the best wrestler in the world in 1988. You're damn right. Macho Man could have took Hogan's spot, but that still doesn't diminish Hogan. Here's the point I was going to make. John Cena. You're telling me that there could have not been another muscle-bound offensive lineman from West Newbury, Massachusetts, who could have played that role?
There could have been, but there wasn't anybody there for that time period.
John Cena did his job. John Cena was given the ball, and damn it, he ran with it. I'm saying if you take John Cena out of wrestling history, it's not a huge loss to the history of the business.
Now, I will say this.
Hogan was wrestling.
Yes,
he was, but Hulk Hogan was also first before Hogan. He was first before Cena. Before Rocky Austin.
Hogan wasn't first. Bob Backlund was before him. Superstar Billy Graham was before him.
Bruno Sammartino.
But Bruno, okay, hold on. Hogan was the first worldwide. Those guys were big worldwide. He was the first to take the company worldwide. Bruno was only big in New York City, Madison Square Garden territory.
My question to you, my brother, is this. After legends like Bruno Sammartino, just let me get my full question out. After legends like Bruno Sammartino, after legends like superstar Billy Graham, who's arguably one of the most charismatic wrestlers in the history of the business, why is it that Hulk Hogan got to that level of superstardom?
Because Hogan had the look. He was the guy that they chose. It's like they chose John Cena. It's like they chose The Rock. It's like they chose Hulk Hogan because he had the look, and he was somebody that they felt like they could build the company around. And he had everything that everybody wanted as kids. You believed it. You believed Hulkamania was the thing. You're like, I'll eat your prayers, say your vitamins. When you were a kid watching, you're like, man, I want to be like that guy. I want to be him. Same with John Cena. John Cena was chosen for that. They could have chose between John Cena and Batista. John Cena was chosen for that spot.
Right.
And just like when we were kids, John Cena is who we wanted to be like and inspired to be like as a kid, as wrestlers. John Cena was that era.
I think another thing is like, even though Hogan said it, like he said, he biased the promo when he said it. He was the right guy at the right time because that was around the time wrestling was starting to hit his boom period, and he was the face of WWE when it hit his boom period. Now that's not an indictment on Hogan, but I do think. I mean, I see when Malik said could Savage have been that guy. I think he had. He was almost just as charismatic as Hogan.
And who knows? They didn't point this. Who knows? Even think if
Why are you not saying that to me? Like I just said, Macho Man was the best wrestler in the world in 1988.
Yeah,
I just said that. I'm telling you, Macho Man might have been more charismatic than Hogan, but historically, Hogan may be the most charismatic wrestler in the history of the business.
I would say The Rock.
Maybe. Okay, I said maybe. You're damn sure not going to put him any lower than 4 on most charismatic, just like you're not going to put him any lower than 4.
For sure.
Maybe Hogan's not in your Mount Rushmore. I don't know.
For sure. Look,
let's do the Mount Rushmore. Let's see what's up.
Hogan is above Cena, in my opinion. I'm a John Cena fan. Hogan's above Cena.
Come on, Malik. This is your show. Let's do the top 4, brother.
Let's do the top 4.
All right, so we'll do.
Started with Sean. We started with Sean.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Wait, hold on, y'all. I'm looking at the live chat. They're going into our conversation as well.
True.
Are we reading the chat? Yeah, I've been looking at it, bro. Hogan was only good at one thing. Well, that one thing worked at the time when he only needed one thing. The problem with the argument I say is talent. WWE didn't have as much diversified talent compared to that. That is a good one. That is something with wrestling and just more people coming to the business. That is something Hogan didn't really have to deal with as much. Especially if we're looking like, okay, this is one thing I'll say.
Before you go, I want you to say everything about Malik Murray. The John Cena made the United States Championship relevant.
That's true. He did. In 2015. In 2015?
Are you kidding me? The U.S. Open Challenge?
Sean.
Let me be clear. That's what he's
talking about. I'm assuming he's talking about that.
Like, I was about to say, come on, Sean. You didn't care about that title until he had it.
I thought he meant like period.
No.
I think he's talking about that.
Go ahead, Kyron.
I was gonna say this. Do I think Cena's the greatest in-ring competitor? No, I don't. Do I think, in terms of pure in-ring, would I take him over Hogan? Yes. Granted, it's more than just in-ring wrestling. I think this is where Cena, when he first moved to Raw, this is why people turned to him so easily, because Raw's main event scene was so good in-ring. Cena wasn't the in-ring competitor he is now. And I think that kind of, not to expose him, because I'm not going to say Cena couldn't wrestle, but I don't think he was the type of in-ring, person he wasn't that in 05, even until it was in 07. So, and I think having to go against people like Chris Jericho or Kurt Angle when he wasn't really at that level yet, that kind of hurt him. Now, when Hogan wrestled, that was great in-ring workers, but Hogan didn't really work with him like that. He more fought giants who weren't really moving agilely. And once again, that was in the 80s where in-ring ability didn't matter all that much.
Okay.
Whereas Cena, he's had to go against some great in-ring performance, especially toward the late years. He did a great job of keeping up with him and doing great with Punk, Bryan, Styles. So I think that's the problem with eras as well, is the different way people look at wrestling. In the 80s, people didn't really care that much about in-ring abilities, whereas in the 2000s and 2010s, when Cena was on top, people did. And because Cena wasn't the greatest in-ring competitor, that's another reason why people didn't really care for Cena as much.
But the thing I don't understand about you guys is the fact that you guys kind of talk about me, and I think Mountie too, like, we're like old heads, which we are. I mean, we're in our 30s, but it's like, okay, we were like 7 during Hogan's time, 5 during Hogan's time. We were like 13, 14 during Rock's time.
We're not saying you're old heads.
What I'm saying is we've lived through the eras to a point where we could have been invested in all 3 eras.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the eras, because you guys were anti-Cena and we were for Cena, because we were kids around that time. So John Cena was our favorite, and you were a little older at the time, so you understood wrestling more than we did. So of course you look at John Cena like, he's not for me. He's corny. I'm not feeling him. So you like, of course, maybe in-ring ability mattered to you at the time. So that's why you like Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, more guys that mattered. So that's what we're saying. Obviously you're not that much older than me. You're only a couple years older.
I know what
we're talking about the different of eras. I'm going to say this. Hulk Hogan was popular back then. My uncle is older than you guys. He's in his 40s. My uncle did not like Hulk Hogan back then because Hulk Hogan was just like John Cena and him. He was corny. The good guy that always won. He was too much of a good. He said he was too much of a good guy. His character was the same. Had the same matches. Was always in the main event. Always won. The same reason he didn't like John Cena either. Hates John Cena for the same reasons. That's why I'm saying they're the same. They're the exact same baby faces. They always won top matches. They were always in the main events. The same, like I said, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Catchphrase that fans can get by. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Catchphrase that fans can get by for that generation of eras. The only difference is the eras of generation. The 80s, Hogan was popular because people just like Hulk Hogan. Nobody really hated Hulk Hogan. John Cena comes on top. Now people are like, you know what? Some people even hated John Cena because they said he was too much like Hulk Hogan to them. He said, you know what? He reminds me too much of Hulk Hogan as far as babyface. I'm not talking about in-ring wise. I'm talking about babyface character-wise. Babyface-wise, they was like, you know what? He reminds me too much of Hulk Hogan. That's why my uncle doesn't like him. My uncle, he's in this, like I said, my uncle's about to be 50. He's turning 50. He turns 50 this year. He didn't like Hulk Hogan. He's like, bro, he went to not WrestleMania, but he saw Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant live back in the days.
Oh, wow.
He saw them live. And he's like, bro, I didn't like Hogan. I didn't like Warrior. Those guys were too corny for him. The characters were they were too good guy-ish, I guess you could say, in a way. He liked guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, guys,
That's a super unpopular opinion, though, man. Like, all respect to your uncle. That's a great take. Don't get me wrong, and I think it matters, obviously. But it's like I haven't really heard of that argument unless we were talking about the time that like Sid eliminated Hulk Hogan that Royal Rumble. You saw a little bit of a pop. You saw people that were fed up at that point. Cool.
You also have to remember social media.
But it wasn't that many people, man, that really thought the same way as your uncle.
It's
all good. It's all good.
Social media wasn't around back then, so we don't like the reason we know John Cena is hated not only because we hear it, but we see it on social media. Social media wasn't around back then, so we don't know. But like I said, my uncle hated Hulk Hogan back in the day. Hulk Hogan, when he was the face, who would have known that? You know what I mean?
But that was my point. My point, and I don't know if somebody in the chat might have went against it or whatever. Maybe it was irrelevant to what I was saying. Maybe it had something to do with something else. But I do feel like that plays a factor. You know what I meant by the era and the technology involved and stuff like that is that Hogan was able to have crazy merch sales, sell out arenas in a time where, it wasn't easy to get his hands on merchandise, bro. You have to go to the fucking arenas to get it if they came to your city. Now it's like you have websites, you have so many different ways. And I know it's to some extent not Cena's fault. I get that. But my point wasn't to say that, oh, well, it's not fair. I'm not saying it's not fucking fair. What I'm trying to say is like if Hulk Hogan did $1 billion and John Cena did $1 billion, that's not really right because Cena has all these other advantages to his to make his number a little bit more inflated than Hogan in a different time era, a time period where it was harder to buy his shit. It was harder to see him. You know what I mean? Like that's what I meant when I was trying to compare the technology and I feel like. And I feel like that helps.
It'll make sense. I think if you look at it that way, if you really think about the numbers, like this is not us being jaded. If Hogan if the 80s had the same Amazon.com, WWE.com capabilities, if Hogan sold $1 billion, he would have sold $10 billion.
Bro, I'll give you exactly, and I'll give you one more example, and then I'll move on from it. Just like, again, the time period helped him. Like, I'm having breakfast, right? I'm out of wrestling at this point. I didn't watch for like 2 years or something like that. So 2004, I want to say, or 2005, I'm there. I'm at a breakfast place, and they have TVs on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. Who cares, right? Like, nobody gives a shit about that. Well, back in the day, you didn't have that. So I'm having breakfast at this at this spot, this diner. And they have TVs on the wall, and they're showing. It was on a channel, and they're showing wrestling. They're showing SmackDown or Raw or whatever. And I'm just looking up. I'm like, "Oh, look at that!" I'm like, "Okay, shit, John Cena. Okay, John Cena. Okay, Batista." My point is like that can get your eye when you're just doing the regular thing. Whereas back in the day, okay, maybe it would have been on the radio, but like definitely not at fucking 10 in the morning on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? When I'm having my eggs and shit, and I'm hanging out with some people. And it caught my eye. So that's what I'm trying to say is like they had all these little advantages whereas back in the day it was like, all right, Hogan, we're going to put you in a movie. We're going to put you on Regis Feldman's talk show. We're going to put you here and here and here. And word got out. That's what I'm trying to say. He got over and worldwide household name all over the world from word of mouth in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just don't know if John Cena was there, or if like technology never advanced, I just don't know if he would be right there. That's all I'm trying to say. And hey, we'll never fucking know. So
yeah, that's a
good argument, though.
Nobody will ever know.
Nobody will ever know.
And like I said,
I hear your top four.
I think it's personal opinions about this. I think eras do matter.
I love it. I love talking about this shit.
I think eras do matter.
And I love the people in the chat too. Subscribe to my channel.
My point is this is my point. I'll end it on. I think it definitely matters on eras and what time period you grew up in and everything like that, because those could matter, because people who weren't back in the Hogan era, they say made Hogan suck. Well, you weren't around then, so you didn't experience Hulk Hogan at its finest. You know what I mean? People who hated John Cena, you know what I'm saying? Well, you weren't a kid when John Cena was coming up, so you can't really relate to how we relate to John Cena.
And I will say that too. When I first knew about John Cena, I think I was like 19, bro, or something. So naturally, after Attitude Era, I'm like, this guy's a little bit like I was over the goody shit at that point. I was like, but. And we all my top 10. I respect him. He's done a lot.
And also, we all have our crossover moments. I was still young, but we all have our crossover moments. As in, when Hogan, came out to help Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9, even at like 7 years old, 8 years old, I said to myself, that's kind of whack. I don't like that. So it's like you have your moments. Like, you have your moments when you start to realize, like, okay, for all these years that I loved Hogan, and I just, like, then you start thinking back. Then you start thinking back, especially now as a grown man, like, should Hogan have beaten Savage at WrestleMania 5? Should Hogan had beaten Bret Hart, beaten Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9? Should Hogan had won all those championships in WCW? But you grow, you evolve. And I'm sure if you guys look hard enough, you'll say, okay, John Cena deserved 11 of those titles, but maybe not 16.
Yeah, right. I think he had too many title reigns. Same with Triple H. Same with Randy Orton.
I think he definitely won matches he shouldn't have won.
Right. I think he definitely, but it's for everybody though. I've seen some comments where some people say, he buried wrestlers, but a lot of top guys buried. Hogan buried wrestlers, Cena buried wrestlers, Shawn Michaels buried wrestlers.
Buried wrestlers.
A lot of top guys bury wrestlers.
The only top guy for WWE, anyways, who I've never really heard anything about burying people and doing politics is The Rock. Look, The Rock is the only person I've never heard any bad. Like everyone we love has done politics or buried someone. John Cena, Hulk Hogan, the Undertaker, the Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels,
Triple H. I mean, all those guys. We've heard so many stories. My thing is, like I said, it depends on different eras. We'll get into the list though. My thing is though, we gotta agree, disagree.
Yeah.
You said that Hogan isn't on Cena's level, or Cena's on Hogan level. I couldn't strongly disagree more.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not saying he's better than Hogan, but he's for sure on the level of Hulk Hogan.
All I'm saying is, I'm just throwing a random number out there. Out of the 25,000 wrestlers in history of the business, probably 250,000 wrestlers in history of the business, John Cena is number 13 for me. So that's no slap in the face.
All right, so let's talk about. Pull up my list real quick for you guys. Talk about the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. So obviously, we made our top 10 list, and if you saw our list, Mountie, I'll let you read the list again. Read everybody's list again.
Yeah. All right, let's start with Malik. Ric Flair, Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Jericho, Triple H, John Cena, Bret Hart. For Shawn, we have Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Macho Man, Chris Jericho, Andre the Giant, Bret Hart. For Kyron, we have Stone Cold, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker. You see a theme here, right? John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Jericho, Ric Flair, Gorgeous George, Macho Man. And then for myself, Mountie, Sting, Ric Flair, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Bret Hart, and Macho Man. So interesting enough, like Bret Hart is on the list 3 times. Macho Man is on 3 times. John Cena is on, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Undertaker is on everybody's list. Ric Flair is on everybody's list. Stone Cold is on everybody's list. The Rock is on everybody's list. And I think Hulk Hogan is too.
Some are unanimous. Yeah, some are unanimous.
So there's a couple of wild cards there. Jericho, Triple H, Under the Giant, Gorgeous George, Sting.
All right,
there's a couple rounds. Anyways, go on.
I'm gonna give you my Mount Rushmore list, and once again, I'm not biased. You gotta.
Man, do your thing.
No, I'm just saying I'm not biased. You're I think the list, you have to look at the list as far as you have to put personal reasons aside when you look at the greatest ever list and you do stuff like this. Because some people,
Can I say one quick thing? Can I address Malik Murray?
What?
I thought that you were Malik Murray. I thought you were talking about the history of the entire United States Championship.
That's what I thought too. So
2015, John Cena totally made the United States Championship relevant. So 100%. I thought you meant the entire history, which would have been blasphemous. But 2015, John Cena did make the United States title.
Malik, can I try to predict your 4 real quick? Just real quick.
Sure.
All right. Number 4, John Cena wearing orange. Number 3, John Cena wearing red. Number 2, John Cena wearing green.
Not even close.
Number 1, John Cena wearing yellow.
You didn't use his best shirt. That's the purple one.
I was gonna say purple. My bad. You just say that because you're a Ravens fan.
No, purple's my favorite color.
I wasn't feeling the purple one. Purple one was all right to me.
I like the purple one.
Man, you know what? Maybe we should do that. We should try to predict each other's top 4.
All right, I'll let you guys predict. I'll start with Sean. Who
for
do you
real,
think is
though, for real. My bad. For real.
Who's in my Mount Rushmore? Who do you think? Predict. I'll let you go.
Who do I think is on your top 4?
Yeah, who do you think's in my top 4?
I think your top 4 is Undertaker. I think your top 4 is Hogan and Flair, and I think your top 4 is John Cena.
Okay.
I think your top 4 is Flair, Hogan, Taker, and Austin.
Okay. Melty?
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna put a lot of thought into this.
And I've never felt like I've been more right about something than what I just said. I think I'm so right.
This is hard. Okay, I'm gonna say John Cena.
Okay.
For real this time. Fuck, this is hard. Shit.
Taker, Flair, Hogan. Taker, Flair, Hogan.
I'm not going with Flair. Oh man, maybe.
Definitely Taker.
Yeah, Taker, Flair, Hogan.
There you go.
Taker, Flair, Hogan. Okay. Ric Flair is on my list.
Hey.
The greatest ever. The greatest of all time. Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Undertaker.
Yeah. Got it right.
You gave
no Cena
over John Cena. So
wow.
John Cena's my favorite wrestler. John Cena's my favorite wrestler, but Ric Flair is the greatest ever, in my opinion. So
is John Cena number 5?
I knew you were gonna do that.
Number 5 is Shawn Michaels.
I know Malik the most best out of everyone on this list because I got his Mount Rushmore correctly.
Nice.
Okay, let me say my list. Ric Flair to me is the greatest ever, the greatest of all time, so he's on my list. Hogan and Austin are the 2 biggest draws ever in the history of pro wrestling. They're the 2 biggest stars ever. Undertaker, greatest character of all time, the most respected wrestler of all time, not only by fans but his peers. Longevity of this man's career, greatest character ever. Got to put Undertaker on there, so that's my list. John Cena, my favorite wrestler of all time, but I can't put him over those guys.
I respect it, man. You're being fair. I respect it.
But he's on the level. Don't get me wrong. He's on the level. I just can't put him over those guys. I can't. It's hard for me to put him over those guys. Hogan was first. He did so much for the business. Austin saved the business at its lowest point, and the ratings were at an all-time high when he was the face of the company, the most popular era ever. Ric Flair to me is the greatest ever, one of the greatest heels ever, greatest characters of all time, greatest in-ring wrestlers of all time. The man had the entire package to me. And Undertaker, I mean, what does it say about Undertaker? Greatest character ever, most respected wrestler of all time, the streak at WrestleMania.
I thought you were gonna put Michaels over him. I was.
No, he's better than Shawn Michaels to me, in my opinion. I would take Taker over Shawn Michaels. In-ring wise, nobody's better than Shawn Michaels, but as far as the total package, Undertaker was better to me.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo of this list so you guys can see it. That way you guys can predict the next 3.
All right, so let's start. We'll go with the bottom. Let's start with Kyron. We'll start with the bottom. We'll mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to predict Kyron's. I know Chris Jericho's on there because that's his GOAT. So I know Jericho's on his list. I'm going to say Hogan on there. I'm going to say Taker on his list. And for the last one, I'm going to say Jericho, Flair, Austin.
Jericho, Flair, Austin.
Suck because he's iffy sometimes. So you never know where his mind goes. Taker, Flair, Austin. Oh,
This is a hard one.
yeah. Well,
I'm looking too because I want to predict his also.
Taker, Flair.
I sent it to you guys in the six-pack chat.
Jericho, Flair, Austin. Those three, I'm positive about those three. I'm feeling good about those three. But the last one, I'm gonna say The Rock. The wild card. I'm gonna throw The Rock in there.
All right, so I'm gonna predict. I also know because of previous conversations that he's a big time Jericho fan, and respecter of Jericho. So I'm gonna go with Y2J. I'm gonna go with the Undertaker. I'm gonna go with Austin because he always talks about Austin being a bigger face than Hogan. So I respect that. I mean, that's arguable. And I'll throw in. I think he has a lot of respect for HBK. So I'll say Y2J, HBK, The Rock. No, Y2J, HBK, The Undertaker, and Austin.
I was gonna throw HBK in there, but I know he loved The Rock too, man. So he likes The Rock more than Austin. I know that.
Okay.
So
I do.
Okay. I have three that I'm pretty certain on, and the fourth one I'm not sure. I have Stone Cold, The Rock, and Undertaker. Those are the three that I have. And the fourth one, I'm going to say, I'm gonna go with my gut and say John Cena.
Okay, you guys ready for this? I'm gonna throw you for a loop straight off the bat. Despite Cena being my favorite wrestler of all time, he's not on it. He's not my Mount Rushmore. And despite me calling Chris Jericho the greatest man ever lived, he's not here either. Okay, number one, Hogan. Two.
You're going in order.
No, I'm not.
Oh, just four. Okay.
Hogan, Austin, Flair, and Gorgeous George.
What?
Gorgeous George makes your Mount Rushmore?
Because this is just WWE. Remember that. This is wrestling. In case no one was more influential in wrestling and the history of pop culture than Gorgeous George. And that's why I feel like he's there.
Props to you, bro. But
Gorgeous George is like your Jordan, Magic, Larry, and LeBron? Really?
If this was going off personal preference, it wouldn't look like this. If it was a personal preference, it'd be Cena, Jericho, Austin, Rock. But I'm not going off that.
Okay.
What they did for the business and their highest peaks.
Okay.
All right, Mountie. Let's try to guess yours. So Hogan definitely on the list. Ric Flair is definitely on the list. I'm gonna say Hogan, Flair, Austin, Macho Man for you.
I'm gonna say Hogan, Flair, Austin, and Sting for you.
I'm going very traditional. I'm going Hogan. I'm going usual suspects.
Let me change. I'm sorry. See, I don't know if we put HBK in there though. I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna put HBK in there.
I did put him in top 10.
All right, I'm gonna go usual suspects. I'm gonna go Rock, Austin, Hogan, Flair.
Okay. Floor is yours, brother.
Okay, so I hate to break it to you, but not one of you guessed it. All four of them. Very close. A lot of you got 3 out of 4. Here's my 4: Ric Flair, Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I have the same list as Malik. Good job, Malik. You
down. Sean.
Great minds think alike.
That's right.
All right, so Sean's list. I know he has Shawn Michaels as his GOAT, so no Shawn Michaels is on there.
Come on.
Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. His third one, I'm not sure about. The third one is, I know those 3 for sure. I feel those 3 for sure, but the fourth one, I'm debating. I don't know. I'm feeling for.
It's not going to be Undertaker because
I don't think he's going to put Taker.
So he's out.
I don't think he's going to put Taker.
Ooh, Bret Hart maybe. Oh, he might do Andre. He might bust an Andre on us. I feel.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm thinking Macho Man.
You're thinking Macho Man? What about maybe Stone Cold or The Rock?
Yeah.
Not The Rock. If it's one of the two, it's going to be Stone Cold out of those 2.
Okay, I'm going to say Flair, Hogan, Shawn Michaels.
Jericho? Ooh,
John Cena.
He might bust the Jericho on us, man. Sean's one of those weird guys, you know?
I'm going to say Flair, Hogan, HBK, Macho Man.
I'm gonna say Flair, Hogan, HBK, and
We all say Flair, Hogan, HBK.
Those are unanimous.
Who's your fourth pick, Malik? Who's your fourth?
Vince.
I'm gonna say Macho Man.
I'm gonna say last one is.
You guys all just basically said one person because the other three is pretty obvious.
Yeah, exactly. We know Flair, Hogan, HBK, and there's that last guy. I'm crossing between two people. I'm gonna go Austin.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go HBK, Ric Flair, Hogan, and I'm gonna go with Bret Hart.
That's a good list. Okay.
So
that's a Sean pick.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, obviously, we have a big surprise at Shawn Michaels at number 1, right? All right. Nobody saw that coming. Hogan, oh my God, there's no way anybody saw that coming. And Flair, I know you guys are completely shocked by that as well. All right. The Rock's contributions to the business are immeasurable. Austin's contributions to the business are immeasurable. I respect The Undertaker probably even more now since talking to you guys than I ever did before. Probably I'm a little embarrassed to say I didn't respect him enough. Macho's amazing.
It's going to be Andre.
4 decades, 3 of the 4 decades main event, 3 of the 4 decades, arguably top 4 or 5 in the business, 3 of the 4 decades, a world champion, Chris Jericho.
Oh,
Chris Jericho. It's a good pick. It's a good list. I didn't know. I wasn't sure about Jericho, but he was in my mind. I wasn't sure. But hey, Jericho's can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with Jericho. I for sure thought he was going to be in Kyrex. That's what.
I was tempted, but I don't know. When you think about the entire history of wrestling's hard, that's why I didn't put Jericho. Like I said, if I was on my top 10 favorite wrestlers, Jericho is my 3rd favorite wrestler of all time. So,
and if Chris Jericho wins the title in 2021, which is very possible, it's about 4 decades as a world champion. Unbelievable.
It's a good list. I mean, you can't go wrong with the list. I mean, that's a very good list. I mean, it's hard to debate anybody's list, really. I mean, to me, you can look at everybody's Mount Rushmore. Everybody has people, who did something for the business in so many ways. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't even put my favorite wrestler in the Mount Rushmore. I mean, my favorite wrestler of all time. So you can't be biased. You got to really look at it and think about who really is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. I have Flair because Flair to me is the GOAT. So anybody who has the GOAT is going to be on your Mount Rushmore. You're your GOAT for a reason. Austin and Hogan are the 2 biggest stars ever in the history of wrestling. And then Undertaker, greatest character ever, most respected wrestler ever, the longevity of the man's career. He has to be on there for me. So
for me, Ric Flair is the greatest, probably greatest heel to ever do it. Maybe even most charismatic. Only person I give the nod to. HBK is, I think, when you think about what makes a great wrestler, charisma, in-ring ability, character, the whole 9 yards. Shawn Michaels checks all the boxes, so that's why I consider him the greatest to ever do it. Ric Flair doesn't even need an explanation. Hogan, the greatest babyface to ever live. Chris Jericho, like I said, 4 decades, 3 decades on top, 3 decades as a world champion. Probably, like I said, will be 4 decades if he wins the title this year as a world champion. 4 decades as a world champion, and 4 decades as a believable world champion. That's where I'm at with it.
Respect it. Can't go against it, man. Can't go against it. I mean, everybody's got personal opinions. It's a fact of the matter. When you look at everybody's list,
retweet that shit.
They're gonna be people. When you look at everybody's list, they're gonna be people that didn't make the list that you think should make the list. But it's hard to do a Mount Rushmore because you only fit 4 spots on the list, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can leave somebody off, and it's so difficult to leave somebody off that you want to be on there. But when you look at everybody's list, it's hard to read some of these comments real quick.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it's hard to make the fact of the matter, man. So before we head off here, I'll answer some more questions for you guys in the comments if you guys want to drop some questions real quick.
Yeah. Okay, we got to address this because he's brought up Endless Blank keeps bringing up AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles is arguably one of the best in the world at the moment. 2016 was definitely his year, and even 2017 for me was his year as well. he said he has too much. Honestly, the amount of promotion he's been on, the amount of success he's had, and still full-time average. Yes, but once again, when you talk about the history of wrestling and all facets throughout almost 100 years, more than that, is AJ a top 10 wrestler? That's the hardest thing. That's why
I would put AJ Styles on my top 10 greatest in-ring performers ever.
Yes, if we're going this pure in-ring performer, AJ Styles is on the list.
So somebody wants to know why we don't have Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles on the list. So simply for me, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles they're not on the same level. They're great in-ring. I think they're great, but when you think of star power, they don't have the same type of star power as far as these guys on our list. So I can't put these guys on the list strictly for me.
And Cody is just too early. I mean, I appreciate his contribution of helping bring AEW to light, but it's just too early with Cody.
I think Cody Rhodes is one of the top 10 wrestlers in the world today, like right now. Like on February 2021, I think Cody Rhodes is maybe arguably one of the top 10 in the world today. But to say Cody is a top 10 performer in the history of the business,
no. And you know what? The more we talk about it, the more like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I'm just looking at my list now, and I'm like, man, like the only one that I can maybe make an argument to switch would be Jericho for Macho Man. If I'm like staring at it though, I'm like, I don't know, it's hard. I really feel like Jericho should be in my top 10. I think
another question. Who was on your women's Mount Rushmore? Someone wants to know your women's Mount Rushmore.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good question.
Well, Trish and Lita for sure. Trish and Lita. I'm gonna say Trish, Lita. Ooh, that's tough, man. That's tough. I'm gonna throw Trish, Lita, China. Put China on there.
Yep.
And my last one,
AJ Lee. I know you.
Honestly, my last one I'm gonna put Miss Elizabeth in there. I think she has to be in there.
I didn't think about managers. I'm gonna say
what's about women just in general. So I mean, Miss Elizabeth, she did so much.
This is tough. You gotta put China. You gotta put Trish. Gotta put Lita. And I'm gonna go Becky because let's be honest, no other woman has won a main event of WrestleMania. And you look at what she accomplished in the last year and a half. That's why I gotta go her.
I'll go with Lita. I'm not as much on the Trish bandwagon. She's top. I'm not gonna put her on the Mount Rushmore. I know that's a controversial stance. I'm gonna go Lita. I'm gonna go Miss Elizabeth just because of her influence on the industry. I'm gonna go China. And man, I'm Bailey and Sasha and back and forth. I don't know. I'll go with the first. I mean, I'll give her the nod. I'll give Bailey the nod because she's the first ever Grand Slam champion compared to Sasha Banks, who's the latest Grand Slam champion. So I'll go Miss Elizabeth, China, Lita, and what I just said, Bailey.
Wait. Here's a question. Who do you think is more, before I let Mountie go, who's more influential, Miss Elizabeth or Sherry?
Miss Elizabeth.
I'll give Elizabeth the nod over Sherry.
Okay.
But I mean, Sherry was
good.
Really legendary.
Before you answer, Thomas, bro, I love Victoria. She's my favorite female wrestler of all time, bro. I think she had one of the dopest characters ever, but I can't put her on the Mount Rushmore over those people.
I got Trish, Lita, China, like most of you guys said. So I mean, that's Trish and Lita itself. Like, how do you leave? For me, I can't leave them out.
I'm not a big fan.
No, really? Okay, that's all good. China, one of my personal favorites, and my favorite this day and age is Charlotte. I mean, I know it's predetermined, and a lot of the title, like a lot of people say, how many times you win a title means that you lost it too. But I feel like Charlotte is the best, and it's just gonna go up from here, man. Like she's gonna go down in history as one, if not the best one ever, in my opinion.
Okay, I gotta get Sean on this one. You say you're not really. I've always preferred Trish over Lita even since I was a kid. Like, why do you stand on more like Lita over Trish? I prefer Trish.
I think
Lita was always better than me.
I always preferred Trish, even as a kid.
I think of the year 2000 when I think of this comparison. We all know that what Trish evolved into, and I respect her for it. She is a top 10 female wrestler to ever live. When we talk about Mount Rushmore, Lita's always had it. Lita had it when she was with what's his name? That Latin guy who was feuding with Eddie Guerrero. Anyway, I forget his name. But She came on the scene. She was dope in ECW. Lita just always had it. Lita was athletic. Lita was charismatic. For a short time, maybe about a year and a half, Trish was only eye candy. Then Trish kind of got thrusted into like a main event or a world title spot, Survivor Series 01. Didn't really become, in my opinion, a real wrestler until maybe a year and a half later. So I just think Trish, I give the nod over to Lita over Trish. And then why is she not on my top 4? I'm not going to put Trish over Chyna. I'm not going to put Trish over somebody like Bayley or Sasha Banks. And I'm not going to put her over Miss Elizabeth. So, there's only 4 spots.
Yeah, I love Sasha. I was debating Sasha over Becky, but I just took that success Becky had over Sasha. That's why, because I love both of them. That was the coin toss for me.
The only, as much as I hate to admit it, the only person I would put on there from the 4 Horsewomen would have been Charlotte. She would have been the only person I would have put on there.
Good pick. It's the right pick.
Somebody said Matt Rushmore.
In ring, bro. In ring, she's got the look. She's got everything, man. She draws, bro. Like, that's just how it is.
Somebody said Mount Rushmore of tag teams. So who's your Mount Rushmore of tag teams? Not factions. You can't count factions.
Oh God,
I need more thought into that, man. I need a top 10 first.
Oh
so,
God,
I'll say Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. To me, the greatest team ever. I'm gonna say Hardy Boys. I'm gonna say I gotta throw the Dudleys in there too because they've won titles everywhere they've been. And my last one, Jesse Infested. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew you were gonna do that. Sean, did you remember when we went? No, remember when it was me, you, Conrad, Malik? We did the top 10 tag teams, and Malik kept saying Jesse Infested.
I remember.
Oh, God, that was hilarious.
Bro, hey, I'm just saying, Biscuits and Gravy needs some respect, bro.
That song made no sense.
It's a great song.
No, it wasn't. It sucked.
I'm gonna say Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys. Oh my gosh, bro, I'm stuck between 2 teams right now. I'm torn between 2 teams. I'm gonna say
it's so hard. There were so many good ones.
I'm gonna say Harlem Heat.
Ooh, I like that one.
I'm gonna say
I'm torn between Harlem Heat and the Hart Foundation, bro. I'm torn, but I gotta go Harlem Heat.
I'm gonna say Hart Foundation. I'm gonna say Dudley's Hardys, and one Heidenreich. I'm just playing. And Road Warriors.
And I forgot fucking Demolition too. Oh, bro.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go. And by the way, there's so many teams that were kind of like put together, but they were just obviously 2 single stars that just had runs together like Mega Powers and Rock and Sock. So I'm gonna go more traditional. I'm gonna go Demolition. I'm gonna go Hart Foundation. I'm gonna go LOD, and I'm gonna go Harlem Heat as well.
Oh, I like all those picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hop on. I'm gonna say Road Warriors. I'm gonna say Demolition. I'm gonna say Hard Foundation, and I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm gonna say Steiner Brothers.
Nice.
Oh, we know Malik doesn't like Scott Steiner, so you knew he was never gonna say that.
I mean, Steiner Brothers were good.
Yo, you can't, man. Those guys were so good. Like,
as a team,
it's a toss up between them and Harlem Heat. And I also it's hard, man. I want to put Dudleys and Hardy Boys, and I want to put Edge and Christian. It's
Outlaws.
They were actually on my radar. I would think New Age Outlaws. I'll never understand why Malik doesn't like Scott Steiner. I'll never understand that.
What is it like about him? Tell me.
I don't.
Tell me what you like about him.
He's hilarious. Okay, he's funny as hell.
Give him the equation of why we like Scott Steiner.
Besides his math promo and him just doing dumb shit, just regularly, just saying off the wall stuff.
No. You remember, Lee? He came out at Survivor 2002. Yo, give me a fucking mic, and you can hear on the actual microphone from the camera.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing besides him saying dumb shit randomly and making people laugh. What is it like about Scott Steiner?
What else do you need? He was entertaining.
I was in the Garden for Steiner's debut in 2002. The crowd went insane when he showed up. I mean, it didn't last long. We know by Royal Rumble, it was all over. But when he showed up in November, Scott Steiner was arguably the most popular guy in the business as far as debuts were concerned. It just didn't. And by the way, how sad is it? You make a major debut, in November of 2002, and by the time March, April rolls around, you don't even make the WrestleMania card.
That's true. He wasn't at WrestleMania. Oh man.
Somebody said best WrestleMania stage. What's your, I guess your best WrestleMania stage?
33.
I like 20 in the Garden with the reflecting floor.
That was tough.
That was cool. What about you, Monty?
I find it funny Sean and I picked WrestleMania we were at.
I always like 21.
21? Okay.
I always like the Hollywood one.
I gotta say 33. That was probably the best one I saw.
Bring back the carts. Bring back the moving carts. Bring them back.
Yes, we need that.
Imagine Randy Orton going down the aisle just on the cart. Oh my god.
Now I will never forget when I walked into I'm not gonna call it Campbell World Stadium. What's the Citrus Bowl, because that was the original name. When I walked in at WrestleMania 33 and saw that stage, my jaw hit the floor like, oh my god, that is amazing.
The amusement park joint, that was cool.
I think the stage this year is gonna be great. I think they got some good ideas this year for the stage. Let's see, Malik Murray. I got a question. Best NXT feud is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
That's not even a question. Absolutely,
that's a fact. Best heel turns. I'll give you my top 5. Hulk Hogan, Bash at the Beach. Stephanie McMahon, Armageddon, 1999. Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. I was there that night, so maybe I'm a little biased on that one. So I'm gonna say those 3. I'm gonna say The Rock, 1998 Survivor Series. That would be up there for me. And then my last one. It's tough, man. So many good heel turns. My last one, I'm gonna say. Oh man. I'm gonna say Andre turning on Hogan.
I'm gonna say
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna say Hogan at Bash the Beach. I'm gonna say Vince at Survivor Series 97. Rock at Survivor Series 98. Andre over Hogan. And I'm trying to think, what was another? Damn, I'm not trying to say that one because I don't really think that's a good heel turn. Damn, I can't. Oh, I'm gonna say Dean Ambrose turned on Seth Rollins the night Roman announced his cancer.
That was a crazy one.
All right, gentlemen, I'll go with Andre turning on Hogan. I'm gonna definitely. I don't know why you guys missed it. Well, I don't know. I didn't think I heard you guys say Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty.
Oh, how did I forget about that?
Thank you. That's gonna be.
I completely forgot about that one.
Macho turning on Hogan, even though it was slow and you could see it coming, it was perfectly
That's
done.
one I didn't think about.
And I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels getting ran through the Geritron by Chris Jericho.
Damn, Sean. You know what, Sean? Half of your list I gotta put on mine because that was too good. And I didn't even think about those 3, and those 3 would have been in my top 5. I thought more.
Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna stick with Hogan and Bash to the Beach. Andre turning on Hogan. Stephanie McMahon, Armageddon 1999. She doing Triple H. And I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels. Definitely Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty. I didn't think about that one. So glad you. And then The Rock in 1998.
You keep saying Shawn Michaels turn. No, Shawn didn't turn on Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty tried to escape through the window.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Hogan joins NWO. Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty. I love that Shawn said that because if he didn't, I was gonna say it. Those are the top 2. Andre the Giant turning on Hulk Hogan, I think has to go for me in that list because it was amazing. And personally, one that is not on a lot of people's top 10 list at all. When Ric Flair turned on Dusty Rhodes.
Oh,
good one.
That had fans wanting to come in the cage and kick the shit out of Ric Flair. Legit, they wanted to kill him, bro. That was it's an underrated heel turn, bro.
It really is.
And if you guys haven't seen it, guys in the chat, please don't judge me for picking it. Just go watch it and see the reaction.
Hold up.
It was huge.
Aaron Bales, favorite WrestleMania entrance.
Oh
Triple
boy.
H WrestleMania 30 for sure.
Shawn Michaels coming down from the heavens in 25.
Triple H WrestleMania 30, John Cena WrestleMania 22. Those are my two favorites.
I'm gonna say
okay. So Shawn Michaels coming down from the heavens at 25, and I'll go. Oh, I'm sorry about. I'm not really having. You know what? Shawn Michaels coming down from the heavens from 25, and Undertaker coming up at 25.
I knew you were gonna say. I'm gonna say Shawn at 12. Shawn at WrestleMania 12, and I'm gonna say
Shawn at 12 is a good pick.
I'm gonna say John Cena at WrestleMania 23. Yeah. I personally, Mountie.
There's a lot to pick from. I mean,
Ultimate Warrior, Vince, I'm running.
bro, I mean, I really feel like Rusev's tank was the sickest thing ever.
I mean, not only that, but always remember this. He had
He
sex
banged
with
Lana
Lana.
in it.
He banged Lana in that tank. You know what? No, Mountie, you win. That is the greatest WrestleMania entrance because he not only did the tank, but he smashed his wife in there.
I win.
You win, Mountie. You win that one.
I'm going HBK at 25, and I'm going Rusev at 31.
Yeah, me, I'm going
That
HBK
was
as well.
sweet,
Rusev
man.
at 31.
That was badass, bro.
The tank was dope. No doubt. The tank was
Not only,
dope.
once again, Malik, not only the tank was dope, but he smashed Lana in that tank. That instantly wins. He's ultimately the GOAT for that.
Top 5 people who WWE dropped the ball on.
Dolph Ziggler.
So as far as
Let's be serious, Sean. Let's be serious.
What?
No, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler definitely.
I am. Whoa! You don't think WWE dropped the ball on Dolph Ziggler?
No, I don't. I don't really. I never really. I don't. The cool thing I think they dropped the ball with Dolph Ziggler, honestly, was
2 times they dropped the ball with Dolph
honestly,
Ziggler.
I thought after Survivor Series 2014, he actually had a lot of momentum, but then
They dropped the
nothing
ball
really.
after he won the title.
And after he won the
That
world
wasn't
title.
fully WWE's fault because he got hurt.
Wow, really? Everybody thinks WWE dropped the ball on Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, the most underrated wrestler of all
Maybe
time.
because I'm thinking more of Dolph Ziggler nowadays. I gotta remember how it was back then.
And in 2016, after he won the IC title, they did nothing with that either. So
That's the last good thing I think he ever really did.
Dolph Ziggler, great on the mic, great in the ring. Dolph Ziggler has the entire package. He's so good. I'm gonna say Rusev.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Rusev. Definitely, especially.
Damian Mizdow.
I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
something.
that's a good one. That's a great one.
I'm gonna say Mr. Kennedy for one of mine, even though there's some stories behind that backstory. But Mr. Kennedy,
I think Kennedy sabotaged himself.
that's what I see. I don't buy that though. They're
He got
different ways.
and then he got getting hurt every time he's about to get it. I'm gonna go.
There are different ways they could have done that because number one, they brought him in great and everything. After he won Money in the Bank, though, they said he got hurt, and then he dropped the briefcase. And then after they said he got hurt, they did another MRI and said he wasn't as hurt as he was, so he didn't need to be out as long. So to me, that's a little fishy. And they said that the reason that he dropped the Money in the Bank because they needed a cash in because Undertaker was hurt at the time. He had to drop the belt, but he could have easily dropped the belt to Batista because they were having a great feud at the time. You could have easily put the belt back on Batista. They didn't have to use the Money in the Bank cash in, but they wanted to do it because I don't think they wanted Mr. Kennedy to have the title because Mr. Kennedy had heat with Triple H, had heat with John Cena, had heat with Shawn Michaels, and he had heat with Randy Orton. So think that really hurt Mr. Kennedy.
Okay.
Endless blanks. That's Cesaro. I agree. Aaron
So
Bale.
let me get my 5. Let me get my 5. Hold on.
You got my fault. Go.
I only said 2 people.
My fault.
Rusev. I'm gonna say Dolph Ziggler.
All I said was 2.
Mr. Kennedy would be on there. Oh man, I'm gonna say.
You really dropped the ball on that Stone Cold guy.
Oh, Braun Strowman, 100% Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman should have been WWE's next monster. Like believable.
Braun Strowman is just not that good.
No, he should have been
2017.
2017.
Braun Strowman was on another
He
level.
should have been WWE's next monster. Not only does he have the look, but he was super believable back then. So he definitely should have been WWE's next top tier monster. So I'm gonna say those 4, and then
Please don't say what I'm about to say because I got a good one.
No,
I want to say Shinsuke, I want to put Nakamura in there, but it seems like they're starting to do. I got to see what they're doing with him in the next little bit. Cesaro could also be on there, but I'm gonna say Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett is gonna be mine.
Okay, I'm gonna start Vader.
Oof. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say, damn, it's time.
Not bad, Kyron. Not bad.
That's a great start. That's a great fucking start.
Yeah, I don't know if I can anything can tell me from that. I'm gonna say Nakamura and Rude just because of how I think those two will drop balls. I'm gonna say Damien I'll probably say Sandow. And I'll probably say I'm probably not even doing them right. I'm just naming off the top of my head. And I'll probably say Mr. Kennedy.
Okay.
Oh, DDP, that's a good one.
This is a hard one. This is a super, super hard one.
The Stalker.
I'm going to go with.
Oh, I gotta change one. Before I interrupt, I gotta change the last one.
Go ahead.
I don't know who I said last one, but I gotta put Cody Rhodes in there. Definitely Cody Rhodes.
But yeah, I thought about that. But was it really they dropped the ball, or was it just a timing thing? Let's be honest.
Because
Cody with what hardcore Holly? Like, come on, he's fine.
Cody for number one, Cody was in the company for plenty of years for them to do something with, and they gave him that terrible ass Stardust gimmick for no just because.
Yeah, you're right. Like he should have started to rise after the dashing, and then it went undashing perfect, and then right after that it was like nothing really happened. I found I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing one, but undashing was sick. I found dashing Cody Rhodes was awesome. What am I missing here? And after that was Stardust. No?
Dashing Cody Rhodes, and then he was multiple tag teams was nothing, and then Stardust, yeah.
Yeah, he was dashing Cody Rhodes after Legacy. Wasn't he?
Yes.
And then undashing when he was feuding with Mysterio at WrestleMania, whatever the fuck that was, 26 or something. 27. And then after that, he was like Stardust for a few years, right?
I mean, he did the stuff with his brother and his father with the Shield, which was great. But then,
yeah. So, oh man, this is a really this is a hard list. I mean, I think Kyron hit it on the head with Vader. How the hell do you go against that one?
You can take Shawn Michaels to that.
But, I'm gonna say Rusev. I'm gonna definitely say Wade Barrett. I'm gonna say Mr. Kennedy, just because I feel like Mr. Kennedy had that main event.
He had it, bro.
He was there. He was there in a time where you had Cena, Batista, and all. Like he was there, man. He was right up there, and they didn't. Like I thought maybe he had a chance of beating Batista at that Royal Rumble. I really did.
Yeah, Yeah, but I think once you knew they were going to do the Undertaker, it wasn't going to be Mr. Kane versus the Undertaker. It was pretty obvious that was Batista.
Yeah, I just hate the logic of you're up and coming star and you're having your moment where you're stepping up to the plate like Kennedy and the Undertaker or whatever it was in that I think it was an Inferno match. And
that's right match.
Okay, thanks. And then it's not time yet. Like you're rolling, you're looking good, but like how come he can't win that match?
Right.
That's why I said earlier when we were debating about the Cena and Hogan thing, those guys were chosen for that spot. If you're chosen for the spot, you're going to be destined for great. Not saying those people were chosen and they're terrible. No, they chose Roman Reigns and they shoved Roman Reigns down our throat for years. We all knew Roman Reigns was good. But you're shoving it down our throats, and you're trying to make us accept that he's the guy. It's not we don't like Roman, but if you're chosen for that spot, it's going to be hard to get over there.
I think even though it was WWE, I got to go to TNA, someone who they dropped the ball with. TNA dropped the ball with the alpha male Monty Brown. They really, especially like when you think about how over Monty Brown got in TNA, and then you look at the match he had with Jarrett at Final Revolution 05, they dropped the ball with him. He should have been TNA World Champion.
So my fifth pick would probably, it's just hard because although Dolph Ziggler, I really feel, that yes, he could have been something better than what he is. I always feel like there's still a little bit of hope for like Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro, not necessarily in the main event scene, but something. So we'll see, guys. We've seen some wrestlers being used weird at times, and then they they take off a little bit, and then they're solid mid carders or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd have to go Mizdow because Damien Sandow, that Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Like, how do you not give it to him that day? Like Sean was saying, like these are situations where you need to give the guy the win.
Is that right?
And even if he wasn't supposed to win, like have it on the fly change. Like you saw the reaction. Like Mizdow, dare I say it, was almost as over as Rusev Day in a sense.
Yes,
it was huge. And and to Sean's point, the Cesaro thing with the theme, like how do you not roll with these things when it's like literally these are gifts we're giving you. We're giving you these gifts like the Fandango entrance.
Yeah.
Like, we come up with that shit, and so anyways, I'm gonna go Damien Sandow on my last one.
Tonio Eslep said Ted DiBiase Jr. I don't think he really dropped the ball with him that much. He never really Zack Ryder, they buried him when he got himself over. Carlito, I think Carlito had a good spot. Mr. Kennedy, yes. And Victoria, I don't think they missed the ball. I mean, she won the title twice, but yeah, they could have done more with her.
All right, last question before we get off here, man. Favorite TNA feud and favorite tag team. So my favorite TNA tag team definitely is Beer Money, no question. Favorite TNA feud. I really enjoyed the Bobby Roode and James Storm feud for the title. Really
Storm
good.
Lockdown. Really
good. Really played. I don't know. I disagree. I was there.
I'm sorry, but you don't build up that type of feud and have that storyline, especially how Roode split Beer Money. You don't have Storm winning his hometown for the title. I'm sorry, but that's how you create a new Storm, main eventer, and I feel like they missed the ball right there.
Yeah, but people want. I don't like the whole hometown. The people win too much in their hometown sometimes.
No,
I feel like
nowadays you don't.
So I liked it. Plus,
tread lightly. Do not bring up Survivor Series.
And I will also throw out another.
Wasn't his hometown though.
Another feud. Let me see. I got one more feud that I really liked. I can't think of the top of my head. I'll come back to it.
All right. I'm gonna say my favorite TNA tag team. I have two: Beer Money and the Motor City Machine Guns. Ironically, one of my favorite TNA feuds when they had that Best of 5 series. Especially in the culminating that incredible 2 out of 3 falls match. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen it, go watch Beer Money versus the Motor City Machine Guns 2 out of 3 falls. Favorite feud though?
Oh yeah,
that match is amazing. Favorite feud, TNA feud of all time. See, I could jokingly say Jeff Jarrett versus the whole roster, but in all seriousness, my favorite TNA feud ever. Damn, because I'm trying to think. Like, it's hard because when I was watching, I can't just name one. It's a few I gotta go, but I gotta go Angle and Joe. I gotta go. That really got me into it. So probably Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, I'll probably say on top of my head Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe. That's probably and Kurt Angle for the Sting leading up to Bound for Glory 07 was good too.
That was a good one. Sean, you want me to go or you?
Yeah, you go.
All right. Favorite tag team? I love the Wolves. Always loved them. I thought they had great chemistry. They put on awesome matches. And individually, I like the wrestlers as well. Favorite feud? I'd have to say AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm going to go Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. But that was excellent.
It's probably the best one ever.
As far as tag teams, I'm gonna do 2 tag teams. One is I think the best tag team in TNA history, which is Beer Money, and then I'm gonna go with something that really entertained me and made me have a good time, which is Curry Man and Shark Boy.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that, Sean. I knew you were going there.
I gotta throw one more tag team out that I really love too. LAX, bro. Homicide Hernandez. Definitely my favorite tag team.
Okay. Look, can we do one more question before we get off here? This is a really good one from Raheem Chaplin, I think.
I was about to bring that up too.
Look, like favorite WrestleMania stage, we already covered that.
33.
But this one, okay. So for me, it's 21. I think Malik was 30. No, wait, Malik was yours?
33.
And then Sean, you too?
20.
Nice. But this the part 2 of his question is interesting.
Worst WrestleMania match. I like that question.
Oh,
All right, easy for me.
same
Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
Same WrestleMania. Greatest stage, worst match.
The first WrestleMania, the first one.
Yeah, not the one Sean went to see, not the one I went to see.
Yeah, it's hard to bet. It's hard to bet against that one. I'm trying to think because I want to give.
I want to think about that because
the worst match in WrestleMania history.
I want to say Taker and Giant Gonzalez because it was bad too. But Brian saying brought up a good point that I never thought about when he reviewed WrestleMania 20. While Taker Gonzalez was bad, was anyone expecting anything good out of that? Whereas Lesnar and Goldberg had the height that people were expecting.
Lesnar and Goldberg on paper was supposed to be the best match of the like.
But to be, I mean, but they both were leaving. They didn't give a shit about that match, so.
Yeah, and I know Sean was in the audience chanting everything with everyone else.
Oh well, first I'm not gonna lie. I knew Lesnar was leaving. I did not know that Goldberg was leaving. So when I got wind of that from that really cool white dude who was wearing his hat backwards, and he was wearing glasses, and he hugged me when Benoit won the title. Whoever it was a cool guy, but he was like, "Yeah, Goldberg's leaving too." I was like, "What?"
So yeah. Somebody said Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, the second one. That was bad.
It was bad, but I was more falling asleep on it because I was so tired. But Lesnar and Goldberg was still worse.
Lesnar and Goldberg is the worst match in WrestleMania history.
I mean, I think King Kong Bundy versus Special Delivery Jones was horrible. It was one splash.
No, but that was good though. That was meant to be a squash.
And Jones didn't fall early. Jones didn't fall down early enough. It was supposed to be like 9 seconds. It was close to 24 because Jones didn't fall early.
Somebody said Brock versus Taker.
Seriously though, it was meant to be a squash. It was meant to put Bundy over, and it was exciting to hear the 9-second announcement. Even though Kyron's right, it was more like 20 seconds. But Goldberg and Lesnar was supposed to be a huge attraction.
It was supposed to be a big thing, bro. And he put Stone Cold in there as referee too, so it was.
God.
I mean, at that time, let's be honest. At that time, if Brock Lesnar really wanted to carry Goldberg through a match, he could have because he was at the top of his game at that time. So I mean, I just don't think I don't think either of them cared.
Okay,
Brock
I got a few that I want to get your opinion on. I mean, what do you guys? Okay, first of all, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler.
Oh yeah,
Mountie, please don't piss me off, man.
That was bad.
That is my all-time worst.
No, here's why. This is why. Once again, the reason Lesnar go is because of the height. But Lawler and Cole is number 2. And you know why it's number 2? Because of the hell that was Michael Cole on commentary that we had to go through
for months. You know,
the pros and cons of Michael Cole being a heel. He was a genuinely annoying, irritating heel. Con, he was a genuinely annoying, irritating heel who was on TV all the fucking time. And then we get to WrestleMania 27. The match is garbage because it lasts too long. Because who in the world thought it was a good idea to give them over half an hour? And then, after the months of hell we had to go through, King wins the match and they reverse it. And it was at that moment, even as an 11-year-old kid, I said, "This is complete and utter bullshit."
And that's when you stopped watching wrestling.
No, I didn't stop. I did not want to watch because Michael Cole was bad enough. The fact that he won just made it worse. And after everything we had to go through, that's probably, even though I think Lesnar Goldberg debatably is arguably worse.
I feel like Cole, I'm going by memory here, guys, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Cole jumped in and out of that heel character a lot too during that time. Like he was back to normal Michael Cole, and then all of a sudden he just like sprout out and be like an asshole with Jerry Lawler. It was like
I think he didn't commit.
It was super inconsistent, you know.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
I liked even Brett versus Vince more than that.
Oh.
Yeah,
for my own reasons.
Yeah, I know, but
how about worst ending to a championship match? Are you talking about WrestleMania wise, or are you just talking about in general?
Worst ending to a WrestleMania championship match was Hogan stealing the title from Yoko.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yes, and I was gonna say, does that count as a shitty match?
That was just some bad thing.
It wasn't a crappy match.
That's the worst. That's wrestling politics at its finest. So.
Bro, I liked it at the moment. I loved it because I'm like, I hated the Yokozuna. So fucking Brutus the Barber could have came out and I would have went crazy. You know what I mean?
He's saying in general. He's saying worst ending to a championship match in general.
Oh God,
I got to think about that.
I gotta go by different promotions. I can't just do
Honestly, we could say WrestleMania. I mean, still WrestleMania 9. That's
still WrestleMania 9.
That's up there, man. As far as booking wise, that made no sense.
That was some of the greatest political play you ever seen.
But I mean, it did make Yoko into a bigger star because he did beat Hulk Hogan and get the belt back. So obviously he beat the
too. I mean, come on now, that's some bad kick political play you would love to see though.
So I mean, there were pros and cons to it because Hogan really screwed over Bret Hart, but it got Yoko over because Yoko ended up beating Hulk Hogan in convincing fashion at King of the Ring. So it made Yoko a star. But
he needed help from Harvey Whitman with a fireball to take Hogan out. What are you talking about, Malik?
Yeah. But it still made him. He beat the Golden Goose, bro. He squashed Hogan after the match.
But he should have beat him clean.
He should have. He still beat him. He beat him.
Brother. You know Hogan doesn't lay down clean for anybody, brother.
Yeah, it's true. Undertaker he had to tombstone him on the chair.
Yeah.
Cena and Rey Mysterio was absolutely disgusting when it came to Rey's side. Yeah, that was stupid, but that's because WWE decided to bring back Punk early. The original plan was to do Cena and Rey at SummerSlam, but because Vince shot the gun and brought Punk back early, that ruined that. I still don't think it's bad WrestleMania 9 though.
Yeah,
I'm so embarrassed about my reaction to WrestleMania 9 at the time when Hogan. I was like, oh my God, that's so wonderful that Hogan's backing up his best friend Bret Hart. That this injustice is going to be corrected.
Hold on. I need to answer. I got to respond to a comment. Saw Straight Talk Show says they were going on tour and they wanted Hogan as champ. Here's the problem with that. The tickets for the tour were already sold. They already had the tickets sold before WrestleMania 9. So even if they wanted Hogan for champ for the tour, they already got the fans' money.
No, he's right though. That is what I mean. Unless you're saying that you think that everybody's lying, because Pritchard and all those guys say the same thing.
Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. As much as that was stupid, it did lead to Daniel Bryan getting super over. So it was a necessary evil.
I was there for that too. Daniel Bryan was already over.
But
that was ridiculous. Everybody was saying yes, and he got beaten 10. So that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was brutal. I met him like 2 days before that in the airport.
Really?
And I asked him, I'm like, hey man, I know you can't tell me, but who's gonna win, man? You gonna win? He's like, I can't tell you that, but man, it's crazy. What we know now, like, fuck, imagine he's just there, like, I'm gonna lose in less than a minute.
It was retarded. It was.
Tony Slep says Cena versus Taker. I'm more angry about Cena versus Taker because that was a legit dream match for me. That was supposed to be a WrestleMania main event at WrestleMania 33, which I was gonna be in person for. They stole that from me. So I'm always gonna have a negative spot for Cena versus Taker, but that match was whatever.
I just wish it was longer. I was waiting so long for it,
Well, number one, they waited too long to have it.
Taker waited too long. That's right.
And the streak was already over by the time they did it too. So
and I'm not a Cena fan, but that one, like, for some reason, bugged me that Cena took that loss like that hard. I was like, fuck. I was like, come on, man. Like, I've been waiting for this for so long. I really thought, like, I guess it's for the longest time I thought Cena was going to be the one to end the streak or something. I don't know. And then when he finally gets the moment, I mean, the streak was done by then, but still, I was like, oh, maybe he'll win. They
should have had it when the streak was still around. But it's hard though because you look back at the history when the streak was around, all those great matches Taker had, so it's hard to replace.
I mean, I think he could have done great with Cena versus Taker when the streak was live. Think about it. When Cena was the guy, you would have legit fear and anxiety from fans like. They're heavy in a Cena. Maybe Cena might in the streak. That will make that match so good because you'll be like, who's gonna win? But I mean, which year would you have done it? Because you're not gonna do it 25 through 28.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Maybe 29. Maybe 29.
Maybe 24. But
24.
24 you can either rearrange it so Cena still wins the Rumble. And Taker wins the world title from Edge earlier, which, I mean, you're kind of bringing a big feud there, but still, then Cena picks Taker, and you get Taker Cena at WrestleMania 24 in the main event. But
somebody said y'all don't remember the kitchen sink match, WrestleMania 14?
What do you say?
The kitchen sink match, WrestleMania 14.
The dumpster match? That's what you mean.
All right, last question. Before the streak ended, who do y'all think could have or should have broke the streak or would have broke the streak? I think Bray Wyatt would have been perfect for the streak. I think he needed to elevate somebody, and he would have been self-made. I mean, he would have made his career.
I think if Cena was going to turn heel, Cena, but if not, then I don't think he should end the streak at all.
I think Undertaker said it best. Brock didn't need it. It made sense, but it should have been somebody who was going to be a younger talent, who's going to be around more. It could have elevated them to the next stats, and Bray Wyatt would have been self-made, been in the street.
Yeah,
It would have been better if it was the Fiend, because the Fiend wasn't around when he first faced in WrestleMania. But man, the Fiend would have been perfect for the streak, man. The Fiend would have been perfect.
Right, like you know, now what we know, right? I wouldn't even had maybe Roman against him that one time, because I don't think Roman losing to Taker would have been, well, maybe it would have been good for Roman. Either way, like what we know now and looking back, I would have for sure had WrestleMania 2019, Undertaker loses to the Fiend. And then that just starts the cycle again for the Fiend being that destructive force that we're going to miss on TV and pay-per-views going forward. We need something like that again, in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not the exact same. You don't have to like have him have a streak like crazy or something, but like that is the next scary, real, larger-than-life character that, you know, can carry that torch. And I feel like if they would have just hung on a little bit longer, I feel like, you know, Taker going over Lesnar, maybe even going over Reigns, going over Cena maybe before that, instead of, you know, throwing him against Punk and whatever. You could have done Punk a little bit different. And then you would have had like the Fiend win that match in 2019. That's what I would have done.
Well, Taker shouldn't have been in the ring at WrestleMania 33. I mean, he was too out of shape. Needed hip surgery.
And going back to the misuse, do you think CM Punk should have been on that list of any of ours, or no? That was just an unfortunate ending.
Had he not,
CM Punk,
had he not left in 2014, he probably would have been on my list.
I would say
misused though.
Oh,
like,
misused.
You know, drop the ball.
Oh no.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Because
I think
because if they would have handled him differently, maybe we would still have him.
I'll say this.
That's a big one.
They pushed him, but they never did. I think they pushed him because the fans brought him, but the company never really believed in him as a top star because he was misused. When he was WWE champion for that long period of time, he was barely in the main events. He was barely promoted. And he should have got the WrestleMania main event at WrestleMania 29. He should have made it at WrestleMania that year. He deserved that main event. He did all the things the company told him to. They told him to get himself over. He got himself over. He did whatever they wanted him to do, even if it was stupid. Still made it work.
Wasn't box office, right?
No, CM Punk was box office.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
You think CM Punk was box office, but Drew McIntyre isn't? Okay. We're going to end this now.
CM Punk was at box office? Yes, 100%.
So I think CM Punk is more charismatic.
Go look at the merch. Go look at the merch sales back in 2011 when CM Punk became hot, and he got people back into wrestling. People got back into wrestling strictly because of CM Punk.
Wow, you are really, really a Drew McIntyre guy if you think that he's more charismatic than CM Punk.
Okay, no, he's definitely not more charismatic.
CM Punk could have been arguably the face of the company around that time too, if they really wanted him to. He was that hot. I mean, he was so over. It was crazy. And like I said, I still think he should have got the WrestleMania main event that year, 29. Him losing to The Rock. Love The Rock, but it made CM Punk.
They should have just did the triple. They should have did the triple threat like they originally planned to do.
Or just had Cena versus Punk in the main event. And
I would say that. I mean, that match they had on February 25th, 2013 for the No Contender was one of the best matches of the year. Use that as the main event WrestleMania 29.
All right, guys, we're signing off here. Appreciate you guys for being on as always. Much love, much respect for you all. Stay tuned for the upcoming podcast in the future. Y'all be safe out there.